Welcome to Broad Ideas. Hi.
Hi.
Hey.
Today on Broad Ideas, so we have known, what? Why are you wagging, finger wag?
You said we, I went,
Oh.
you and me.
Oh, yes. Olivia and I have known Ashlee Simpson for 20 years, maybe?
20?
20? Yeah.
Scary
Every
to be
time
able
you
to
say it,
that.
I know. It's like, oh, how old am I? Anyway, she is joining us today with two of her best friends that we are also close with, Stephanie and Lauren. And we have a very fun catch-up to do. Love these girls. Love Ashlee. So happy she came to talk to us. So let's get right to it. Wait, were you saying you've never done a podcast or you just
I've
haven't
never done
many?
a podcast.
This is
We're popping it.
Ashlee's first
We're popping
one?
it.
First.
That's really exciting. Thank you for trusting us with your virginity
Yeah.
in the podcast.
There it is. You're popping my cherry.
Oh my God. We're so happy all of you guys are here.
Thanks. I forgot we were doing a podcast.
I know. I know. We can
It
just keep
just feels
going.
like catching up.
I know.
I
Well,
know.
it basically is.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Rob's like, did you prep? I'm like, prep? We're talking to like Ash and Lauren and stuff. What do you mean?
I know. It's crazy. We all go way back.
I know. We were like talking on the way over here. We're like, we've all lived like, I don't know, we had sort of mirrored lives like
Yeah.
growing up in Holly. I mean, you guys lived here, but we all like growing up here. I don't
Well,
know.
how long?
Yeah.
So how many years ago was that? Like we all met.
When we met.
20.
We
2000,
met
20 years ago.
2004.
like 4. You were on
the
OC. I was making my first album.
Yes.
I feel like it's like during that time. Or maybe I'd made my first album when we met, or had I not? Because we met through
You were
Josh
I feel like
and
you
Brett,
had.
her husband.
Brett.
Yeah.
you were making
Yeah.
in the making.
Yeah.
In the
Probably
making?
in your show. Because I have this like funny memory, and I'm sure you guys were both, it was at your apartment off of
Oh yeah, by the
by
Hollywood
the
Bowl.
Hollywood
Yeah.
Bowl.
Mhm.
And you guys were like, wait, you live with Ashlee Simpson? And I was like, yeah.
Well, because
So
you guys
funny.
are childhood best friends.
Yes.
So
three
we
of
are all
us.
friends from like Texas, from growing up,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
childhood.
We went-
And then I moved out here with my family when I was 14. My sister had gotten signed to like Columbia Records, and we moved out here. And I grew up, I was a dancer, and they were like, and at the time I was like on and off going to Juilliard, to School of American Ballet. And they were like, you could go there year round, or you could come with us to LA. And I was like, I want to go to LA and go to acting
Wow.
class, and I'll dance with you on tour. Even though I wasn't really like a hip hop dancer, I was a ballerina. So I had to learn to get down and get low.
Yeah. And she's going to show us.
Oh my God. Well, I don't know if I ever knew that. So then you
Yeah.
were dancing.
So I danced with my sister from the time I was 14 to 16. And at 15, I was doing music as well. So I said, look, I'll do this tour if I could bring my guitar player to be the guitar tech so we can write songs.
Smart.
So I did that. And then at 16, I left touring with them, and I came home. And I was on Seventh Heaven.
I remember. I told you that. I was on Seventh Heaven.
You were too?
Yeah.
I feel like everyone was on Seventh Heaven.
It's a
that was
moment.
the show, for sure.
Totally.
Yeah. And
So I
then-
did that for 2 years,
Yeah.
and it was like nice because I was like being paid while I wrote my first album.
Yeah, that really
Yeah.
works out
It
quite
did.
well.
I
And then-
love watching your dancing on YouTube.
Oh, no, we all can do that. I didn't know.
Rebecca
Well, we're
Simpson.
going to do
Look
that
this
now.
What?
Yeah.
Do you do dancing on YouTube?
No, like
think
no,
she's
you were
hilarious.
a backup
You.
dancer.
Oh, my background
Me and Evan.
dancing. Oh, I
Me and
was
Evan
a
love to
dancer
look
on
at your old
YouTube.
videos.
I had no idea.
Surprise!
Surprise, surprise.
You know what you're talking about, you.
No, like our funny 90s, like, you know, early 2000
Oh, yeah.
looks
Those
with like,
moves.
Evan and
like,
I love to look
twisty
at it.
buns in your hair. You know how you do like 4 buns of like twisty.
yes.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
You know.
it was a time.
It was
yeah.
a
For
moment
sure.
for fashion.
And Lauren's married to Brett. So Brett was Adam Brody's best friend
Yes.
while we were on the OC. I'm
Yeah.
just giving all context of
This
like,
is how
the
we all
connections.
connected. Yeah.
This is the circle.
They were roommates.
Yeah.
And
That's right.
yeah, and Brett brought Lauren into our lives, and we were very
Yeah,
blessed
I
for
know.
that.
So
I remember the first time you guys came over. Because I remember, well, no, I think I remember the first time hanging out with, I don't know if you were there, but you two were there. And we were at Jake Hoffman's house,
Yeah.
at his parents' house.
Yes.
And we were in the jacuzzi. And I remember Lauren was like sitting at the edge of the jacuzzi. And afterwards, Brett's like, I like Lauren. And like the way he said it. And I was like, she's so cute. And I remember thinking like that you guys were like us. You guys had what we had.
Yeah,
we were like this gaggle of girls that grew up together. And it was like, no matter where one of us was, just like today when
well, that's what Rachel said to me. She was like, will you do the podcast with me? And I was like, can I bring Lauren and Stephanie?
Yeah, and that's
I know.
exactly.
And I love what you said about that too. You were like, it's your security blanket.
Yeah. 100%. That's why Olivia.
hello.
I'm like, a podcast? Well, I need to bring.
Right.
Because you have those people. But it's also crazy because if we go back to that time, like, first of all, you've been with Brett this whole time, which is
so crazy. How many
Insane.
years have you and Brett been together?
I think it will be like 20 years this year. Like since that hot tub.
But since
It'll be
that
20
hot
years.
And
It
you
was like
would've been-
July 2004 or something.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
which is insane.
Yeah.
And then you, obviously, like, you were young when you got married, the first marriage,
My
right?
first, yeah.
And had a child.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I was 23.
Oh,
yeah.
I had just made, so when I got pregnant with my son Bronx, he's 15 now. But when I got pregnant with him, I had just made my third album and I was starting to tour and I got pregnant. And
right before
That's
this.
Did you say 23?
23.
So think about that for a moment. I'm like, if you handed me a picture of myself at 23, I would be like, don't let her make a decision. Right? Like,
100%.
please stop her.
Honestly, that was the craziest thing.
That no one did.
No one did. And none of my friends had been through it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I had one friend, which was Nicole Richie, and she was pregnant the year before me with Harlow. So thank God, because I really don't know what I would have done without her and teaching me like what a night nurse is, what you feed your kid, all that kind of stuff. I was like, wait, what do I do? But literally none of our friends had kids.
No.
We were in such a different time in our lives.
Lolo and her sweet self, she would stay with me while everyone went out. And I feel like my sister never went out, but I feel like the time that I had a baby, she decided she wanted to go out with all my friends.
Now's a good time.
Wait a second.
So true.
You want all my friends to come to your house and have a good time while I have a baby on my boob.
Oh my God.
No, it's actually cute because Lolo would come and hang out with me. And at the time, Bronx's dad, he was touring.
So you were alone, pregnant.
Yeah.
She's like 24 with a new baby and all.
And I
everybody
just
was
turned
off.
24. So when I was 9 months pregnant, my birthday is October 3rd. I had like a white trash theme, which I probably could never have done with my other babies. I had like a swimsuit on, short, like fake tattoo on my belly.
It was a good party.
Fake sig.
I feel like with all my other pregnancies, I was much older and not as cute as when I was 23 and pregnant. That was a real bounce back.
But that makes you a Libra.
I'm a Libra.
Me too.
You are too?
Yeah.
What's your birthday?
October 14th. What are you guys?
Aries.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Pisces.
Aries and Pisces.
Yes.
What are
Steph, you
you?
said that like
I'm all of our friends are Libras. Like we're surrounded by Libras.
Oh,
They're
really?
So
great.
many Libras.
So I went through, so I had my first child and then, he's actually great. We get along great, but
And he's a grown-up.
Who, my son? Oh, yeah. But I was saying, though, that when we separated,
Oh, sorry.
I was, then a single mom. We separated when Bronx was 2.5.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you were like 25, 26?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I think there was like just this whole new world of, because I really hadn't figured out that I feel like women change at 25. And we all know that. 25 is like a changing time in your life.
For sure.
And, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like for me, there was like a moment of like really figuring myself out. And then I was so lucky my husband came into my life. And I had 2 more kids.
Right. How long after or when did you meet your husband now?
We met, and he's younger than me. He was 24 and I was 28.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I'll be 40, October 3rd.
I can't believe that.
I know. It does.
How does it
I'm
happen?
like, wait, that means I'm
Right.
42. Wait, hold on. How is this possible?
I know.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Wow.
It's crazy.
Wow.
What does it feel like to be 40? I'm like, are you 40 yet?
I
How old
love
are you?
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm 44.
Yeah, you're 44.
I'm 44.
Okay.
I forget. I swear to God, I forget. Like, I think after I turned 40, I was
After
like,
40, yeah, it's all like,
I will say in 100% honesty, I like my 40s better than any decade I've ever entered.
Right.
I just
love
feel
that.
like a person, I feel like I've arrived in who I am as a human. I would never go back to my 20s.
Oh, no,
Okay,
no.
Yeah.
Forward to, oh,
Not in a million
No.
years.
And 30s is weird, I feel like.
30s
it's
is
good, but
weird. I mean, look, there's things about turning 40 that we all are going to have to face, which is, you know, you're going to get the gray hairs and the wrinkles
Right.
and the,
right.
you know, all of that kind of stuff. And you watch
You
yourself.
don't have to get those.
No, you could you could dye your hair and get
Preventative.
Botox and all that. But
Yes.
there is a transition
Yeah.
where you're like, oh, I'm not that girl anymore. When you still feel like her in a lot of ways.
Right. Well, we're
Right.
always connected to that part
Yeah.
of
Of
us,
course.
right?
Oh my God. And
I
like,
feel like that's the only, sometimes like when that like younger part of you comes up, you're like, wait, but I know how to face this different.
Yeah.
That's it.
You know what I mean?
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. I wouldn't, I'm the same. Like I wouldn't go back. And I feel like you handle things so differently as you get older.
Right.
But I find myself like looking at Instagram and they're like, this happened in da-da-da. And like, you're old if you da-da-da. And I'm like, wait a minute, but that's all like our prime. So
Yeah.
old? Like,
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, but
I
it's
know.
in your face. And especially as women too. You
Yeah,
know?
Right.
for sure.
Like age, and everyone's like looking at you and judging and
Yeah.
it's really fucked up, you
Yeah,
know?
it is.
And so it's just navigating that, which you have your girls and,
Yeah.
you know, your
Yeah.
support system and everyone goes through it together.
Yeah.
which,
Luckily, we go through it together.
yeah, we're very
Yeah.
fortunate to
Yeah.
have like the sisterhoods and like the same, you know, for
Totally.
life.
and our
luckily-
children. I mean, every time I'm like, well, I'm going to be 40. Well, guess what? That means my son will be 16.
Yeah.
You know
I
what
know.
I mean?
That's so
He's so
crazy.
good.
I'm like, that's okay.
That is okay.
You have a full blown
I should
man.
be 40.
Right.
You have a 16-year-old.
Right,
math
those go
works.
together.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. And then your youngest is
So my youngest is 3.
3.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I have an 8-year-old.
Right,
My
right.
daughter's 8.
How do they all
And
do?
you said you have an 8-year-old.
8 and 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have such a wide
Yeah.
variety
Someone
of
like, do they
ages.
hang out? Like, does Bronx like,
They
like, how
do.
does that?
You know, and both of my sons, speaking of signs, they're both Scorpios.
Okay.
Oh, my
I
daughter's
didn't
a
even-
Scorpio.
Scorpios.
Yeah, they're both Scorpios on opposite ends. My baby is October 29th in
What?
Bronx.
That's my daughter's birthday.
Really?
Yes, Briar's
way.
birthday.
Oh my God.
Oh.
And you know who else is Evan's sister, Tracy?
No
They all
way.
share a birthday.
Oh my
yeah.
God, that's so cute.
So
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really sweet.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. I can't
I feel
believe
like
that.
they're, like,
How do we
strong,
not
like-
put that
Yeah.
together?
They're pretty strong.
Very.
I mean, he's only 3, but I can see.
You can
He's like,
see it.
I said, I want this, mommy. I got you, Ziggy.
Aw, that's
so it's
really
cute.
sweet.
And there's nothing like, for me, having all the different ages, I feel like that you have a little one too, but when they finally find their voice and start like talking and like,
Yeah.
but I
They're
want this,
people.
I want to do that. And it's actually cute because a different age. So like Jagger can look after Ziggy, or like this Christmas, we were at, we always go to Evan's mom's for Christmas. And it's like, there's so many cousins, like so many.
That's also like quite the mom to have.
Oh, I know.
Your mother-in-law?
Definitely.
Pretty
Yeah, that's
iconic.
Definitely.
That's iconic. Yeah.
It is,
Yeah.
for sure. And the house is amazing. It's in Connecticut, and it's actually where
Oh,
Evan
you go
and
to
I.
Connecticut.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's where Evan and I got married in
Oh
Greenwich.
my gosh.
Yeah, and so it's like so fun to be there with all the kids and
Yeah, a lot of
whatnot.
kids.
And it's where Evan grew up.
That's amazing.
So like I can go to his old room, and I don't know. There's
Oh,
something-
still the same house.
I feel like, have you guys ever felt like if you go into like your boyfriend or your husband's old like shower or something, there's something exciting about that? You're like, what were you doing?
First thing your mind goes to, you're like, oh, you're in the shower.
No, I've never thought of that. But yeah, that's you.
Amazing.
Would you have liked me?
Would you have liked
Right?
me? See, I think I
Oh.
don't do that because my husband was more of like the like he grew into who he is today.
Right.
But in high school, I don't think
No, I always do that.
I don't think
You
I
go
would
to
like
like,
him.
liked me.
You know what I mean?
high
Like he
school.
would have liked me a lot.
yeah. You go to high school and you see both of you in high school and you like, would you even?
Right.
Like, do you feel like you're?
I feel like you and
Well, I
Evan
would.
would
I
like
think
each
we would have
other.
liked each other, but I
You
would have
would've
been
been a lot
older.
older.
You're like, I would have been great.
I'm like 18 and he's
Yeah.
14. I don't know.
Oh,
That
yeah.
vibes out that way.
Right. How do you
Sort
feel
of.
about that? Like the age difference that you're older. Does it affect you at all, or?
No, I feel like also Evan growing up with like his mother being who she is, and he has older sisters like Tracy, Chudney, and Rhonda, and he has a family of 10.
Wow.
So when his parents got together, they had 3. His dad had 3 and his mom had 3.
Okay.
And then they had Ross and Evan.
Mm.
So that's him and his brother. And they're 9 months apart.
They're 9
And
months
she had them at
apart.
44 and
My.
45. It's like,
What?
oh,
Yeah. It's
What?
Yes.
44 and 45? Don't say that.
She's like, I thought I couldn't give that.
I think it's something like that. Yeah. So it's very
Wow.
impressive. And when I
Wow.
hear stories about it, they're like, oh, and she was just going to the Prince concert the next day. And I was like,
What?
Yeah.
so there's
What
always
a
something to
life.
look up to. I'm like,
Right.
wow. I am like, and my mom is amazing too. So to have those amazing women around
Yeah.
you, it's like, all right.
Yeah.
I want to
Life's gonna
hear
be
about
good.
that because I think this is a big deal. And you have people in your life that support you and have been there since the very beginning. What has that done in your foundation of what you've gone through? Because you have had a very public life from a
Right.
really early age.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been a lot of different things that have been out there. Like, how has it been to have a support system? What does that mean to you? What do women mean to you in your life?
I mean, honestly, I feel without that support system and without going, I've been through a lot in my life of like ups and downs or like publicly, like people thinking I'm going through more than I probably am too. Because of that support system, I
Yeah.
feel like there was always a way of looking at things differently than, and growing up, the world was just so much harsher. I mean, it's still harsh because now it's like, on the
Oh,
internet,
yeah.
everything you
Oh,
do,
yeah.
you're like, oh, I'm just going to parent and be over here.
Yes.
But it's like people made, this because you grew up in that time. People made stories of things or like,
Of
there were
course.
things that I went through in my life that were publicly like humiliating and whatnot. And for me to have that foundation of strength from, growing up, even as my sister's dancer, watching people be like, oh, she's fat when she's not. She looks great. You know what I mean? She's a tiny little thing. And just seeing how people would do that. And I would like be the first as like her dancer to be like, go fight somebody. Be like, have you looked in the mirror?
I got your back.
So I've definitely been, I had seen it before I walked into it. So I kind of knew what I was getting into in my life as well. And I lived it. But I feel like just being surrounded by women that find that strength. And I think as women just in their day-to-day life, we all have to look to each other for that. Because we all
Right.
have just common normal shit that happens
yeah.
in life too. And it's like
Oh, yeah.
things will break you and we have to like have that. That's my friends and my 2 amazing, my mother-in-law, my mom and my sister.
Yeah.
And having that like foundation of us remembering like who we are, where we come from, and that, I feel like women have to be so strong.
Oh my
like,
God.
how do men just get to be like, well, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do it all.
It always seems that way, doesn't
Right?
it? Yeah. Like, and it's the same for me, like going through stuff but you have your support system and women, it seems like we just deal with a lot more of like the scrutiny and anything in the public eye, especially like you
Right.
have been in the public eye since you were a child.
Yeah.
Because that's so young,
Mhm.
in 14, all of it. And even for me, like I was 21, but still it's just like,
That's young.
It
it's
is
young.
so young.
Right. It's young and you're just growing up and all these things that happen
Yeah.
and you're dealing with it, but you have come through it all and out of it all still so amazing. And it's like because of the foundation you have, and it really does make a difference.
It really does.
Yeah.
And I think that there's just also a thing of going, that's that, this is me, this is my personal life, and not connecting them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's been interesting for me because there's been moments where I'm like, oh, I want to write, I want to put a new album out, or I want to go back and do a show or something. And then, it's like having 3 kids, I always get back to like, but I'm a carpool mom and I have to do this and my kids need me. And that's like my priority. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, we're the same that way. I think even when we were like texting about doing it and you're like, I'm always in the car because carpool this and that. And I was supposed to like read at
I live
Jagger
in my
school
car.
and I couldn't. And it's like, we all do that. I think we're moms first.
Yes.
And I think
that's the most grounding thing.
Absolutely.
Don't you think? Right?
100%. Because what's more than that?
Right.
Right? I mean, for at least us.
Not me.
No.
And all of their daily things. I got in a fight with so-and-so today.
Oh my God. Navigating the
yeah.
kid stuff is
Right?
You're going to have it.
Yeah,
Not
it's coming
for
for
a while,
you.
but-
It's coming for you.
For sure. And you have a girl, so it like starts early, I feel
I
like.
didn't remember it being this early.
Me either.
Right?
I like
Okay,
the
it's
girl
the same.
drama
Yeah.
starts so
So
early.
early.
I'm like, wait, wow. This
I
is
had
too
no
much for me.
idea. I'm like,
Yeah.
it started even like last year in second grade. And I was like, I remember maybe like 5th, 6th grade, you start dealing with
Right.
stuff.
Yeah.
But it is early.
It's
you know,
early.
I tell you
We
all the
talked
stuff.
about it yesterday.
Is
We're like,
your-
this seems early.
8-year-old a boy.
Boy.
Yeah. So
There's
having a
not
boy,
different.
they're easy. They're like
different.
so,
Yeah.
I didn't
it's
realize
different.
that it was going to be this
You
way.
know,
Yeah.
girls, we've talked about this so much because we were like that. And we always had like what? We were girls. Like we'd be like,
Yeah.
we'd
Oh,
be like,
wait.
everyone needs to change their favorite color. Like mine's red, and no one's allowed to choose red.
Right,
And it's
right.
just like stupid.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah,
Lauren
it's the
and I
nature of
met
women.
in the third
Yeah,
grade.
this is funny.
In
Actually,
third
and we
grade?
started off as
she was
enemies.
not nice to me in the third grade. And she was the nicest person on the planet.
planet.
Like, I think for anyone to say Lolo not nice.
No,
wait,
that
what?
doesn't-
She wasn't
Go
nice to me in
together.
high school. We were enemies too.
Yeah.
But then we were like inseparable.
Lola.
I
What?
think I used to have a mean streak, honestly.
I can't see that.
Which seems
at all.
impossible. I know. She's the
Impossible.
nicest
No.
person.
Broad Ideas is supported by Talkspace. Do you think seeing a therapist or psychiatrist would be helpful, but you don't have the time to actually find one and meet with them or afford them? Try Talkspace. By doing everything online, Talkspace has made getting the help you want easy, accessible, and affordable. When you've met your therapy goals or simply want to cancel, Talkspace has a simple cancellation process and will work with you to get a prorated refund for unused time if applicable. At Talkspace.com, you can sign up online and get a personalized match with a provider that's right for you, typically within 48 hours. It's incredibly convenient to have virtual sessions with your licensed therapist from the comfort of your home. Therapy can help you shift your perspective, find tools to cope in difficult times, and be a guiding light. Talkspace can help with any specific challenges you might be facing. It's the #1 online therapy platform with licensed therapists in over 40 specialties, including anxiety, depression, substance abuse, relationship issues, and much more. As a listener of this podcast, you'll get $80 off of your first month with Talkspace when you go to Talkspace.com/ideas. To match with a licensed therapist today, go to Talkspace.com/ideas to get $80 off your first month and show your support for the show. That's Talkspace.com/ideas. Broad Ideas is supported by Blissy. Who knew that a better pillowcase is all you need for better sleep? Let's talk about practicing self-care while you sleep. Set yourself up with better sleep with Blissy's award-winning 100% mulberry silk pillowcases. Seriously, silk is what's best for your hair and skin. It reduces frizz, tangles, and prevents breakage. That's because it keeps the moisture in your hair and keeps your skincare products and natural moisture on your skin, while cotton literally absorbs it off of your face. Say goodbye to wrinkles, dry, flaky, and red skin in the morning and wake up with healthier and shinier hair. Blissy pillowcases are made of 100% mulberry silk, which is naturally hypoallergenic, so you can sleep more comfortably without itching or rashes. And unlike other silk pillowcases, these seriously help the frizz in your hair. I'm not kidding. I really suffer from that, and ever since I've been sleeping on my Blissy pillowcase, it has been so manageable and so smooth. Everybody loves them. They have a ton of different prints and colors, and they make great gifts because there's an option for literally anyone. Men love them too. They have over 1 million raving fans, and you could be the next. Try now risk-free for 60 nights at blissy.com/Rachel and get an additional 30% off. That's BLISSY.com/Rachel and use code Rachel to get an additional 30% off. Your skin and hair will thank you.
No, well, I had a crush on this boy.
I was the new girl to school
and
in
Ashlee
third grade.
comes in all new and like hot, and it's like third grade
so
hot.
No, that's a thing. Third grade hot.
Third grade hot.
Like,
Was it third? It was fourth grade.
Yeah, she
right?
was
I
a
would say third or
dancer
fourth
and
grade.
she wore like these little skirts with her long legs, and she was so cute. And she liked my boyfriend.
Yeah,
or
not
my
cool.
crush.
You were like,
And
no.
I was like, no.
no.
And
But I do remember, I think it was my first week of school, and I didn't realize I was wearing skirts and doing the splits in the back of the room reading.
yes.
Did you
And she would
not?
have everyone looking at me.
I'm like, oh my God, Ashlee Simpson's doing the splits and you can see her panties.
Oh, you were like, no.
And I was like, no, that's not cool. Well, and then I was like, I feel like when, like throughout the year, when it kept happening, then I was like, oh wait, I don't want people looking at that. So then I'd be like, Ashlee, close your legs.
Oh my God.
Which, thank you. You could have just told me from the beginning. Thank you. Yeah, like, I'm out in my own world. I was a ballerina. I'm just like, do.
Oh my God.
Speaking of closing your legs, that is so funny because I remember.
I remember you not.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. I remember that jacuzzi night.
Closing my legs.
Your legs were not closed.
She took a trick from me in the fourth grade. She said, I'm going to do the Ashlee from fourth grade.
That's what happened. She was like, I picked up the cues. You were sitting on the side of the jacuzzi, and I remember thinking she's so free because I was already so like self-aware, but you were sitting in a bikini on the side of the jacuzzi in splits. Okay?
We learn things from our friends.
This is the truth. You guys own everything.
I took a tip from Ashlee. I was like, I like Brett.
This is how you get the boy.
Yeah, this is how you get him. She had
You were like kicking it in like splits with your bikini, and I was like, God, because you were a little younger than us, and I was like, that must be nice to be so young and free. And this was at like 20 and 20.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's hilarious.
That's very funny.
You're like, I still do
love
that. I still do
and
it.
now,
Look at us.
Ashlee can still do the splits.
Oh, it's like my drunk trick. It's so embarrassing. I like lift my leg over my head. So you know I've had too many when I'm like lifting my leg over and showing I can still lift my leg above my head. And my husband's always like, well, there she goes. Maybe it's time for bed. Maybe it's time to go.
Well, I text in the morning. We're like, well, Ashlee did the splits again.
It's time to split.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
I
That
wonder
made
if
my
everyone
face
has
hurt.
that thing that
That they
happens.
do
Yeah,
when they're
like
drunk?
if you're like too drunk.
Right.
Oh, I mean, this is my go-to. I'm like, it's got to stop. By the time I'm 40, it's just got to stop. You know, I can lift my leg,
40, it's
guys.
gotta
It's
stop.
great.
Right.
Does it though? Because if you can still do that at 40, I feel like
you
it's
should show it
impressive.
off.
Yeah.
Let's just make sure your kids aren't there.
I think sometimes I get impressed with myself. You know, I've had a few and I'm like, I've been momming all day. I'm like, look what I can do.
But now she's not. Now you're like in the big baggy sweatpants, not the skirt.
No.
Big
baggy sweatpants.
It's a different thing.
We're not in the skirt.
It's killing me.
But then,
That's so good.
Steph, you toured with Ashlee.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. As her backup singer.
I remember seeing you guys. I feel like it was the Greek.
I remember seeing you in the audience.
Yeah, that was my first.
Was it your first?
Show out here. No, it was my first show, but my
But
first
that
to the
tour.
theater of that tour. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
And it
coming and
rained
you were
that
on
day.
stage and we walked. I remember that.
I remember you with the girls
So
like dancing
funny.
in the audience.
Yeah,
It's
we were, of
so cute.
course, we were dancing.
Fun.
It was so fun.
I know.
That was
You have to go
probably
back on
so
tour.
long. Yeah.
It was so much fun. What a good time. Like
Yeah.
being young on tour.
And
With your best
Stephanie
friend?
and I go back, like, our parents went to college together. We've been best friends our whole life.
Yeah.
So-
Oh,
Oh my
wow,
God,
your
I didn't
whole
realize
life.
that.
Yeah.
Like we never really didn't know each other, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh
And
my
so
God.
then how
Like
did
her
you...
mom would take me to the doctor when I was younger. My mom's like, oh, she's fine. Her mom would take me. And then there was a time where I was touring and stuff, and I came and I was staying at your house, I think, but we had all gone out.
In Dallas.
In Dallas. We had all gone out.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh, I want to go home. I want to go to your house and put my Uggs on. I put my Uggs on.
Yeah.
And I was so excited. I run and
You did
I
like
do
a
like
herky.
a goofy like leap thing. And I fall over some acorns and I broke my 2 fingers.
Yeah.
And then your mom the next day, I had like acorns in my hair.
She
Took me
woke
to the
us up.
doctor. And I had like,
Ashley had acorns in her hair. My mom was like, what's happening?
Oh my God.
She had to take Ashley to the ER to get her like fingers wrapped up.
pre-babies.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my
she's been taking you to the doctor your whole life.
Exactly. And now I feel like what's nice about that is we're all each other's godmoms. and
Yeah.
We'll be
Yeah.
doing the
That's
same
so
thing for each other's
sweet.
kids.
That's right. That's
I'm her
amazing.
youngest godmom.
Yeah.
Aw,
That's really special.
No,
awesome.
it is special.
I know.
And what I'm always curious about is because, you know, like obviously with siblings, some people have sibling rivalry, some
Right.
people don't.
Mhm.
I never did. But there is that kind of when you have I grew up with an older sister, so I know
Right.
what that's like. And when they're incredibly beautiful
Right.
and I mean, in your case, famous, what
Right.
was that like for you growing up with Jessica Simpson as your sister? Like,
It was
that's
like
kind of a thing.
It is a thing.
Right.
Living in the shadow. Let's be
I think
honest
there's a
here.
song about this.
I think it is a thing. And I think there was like moments where it felt like that, but like growing up, my sister didn't like to sleep alone. So she would sleep on my trundle bed. I'd sleep on her room. So like we always, had that like bond of like getting ready together and all that stuff. And I think that there was always that. And then I think that, at times there was moments like maybe on tour where I was like, hey, look at me over here. You know what I mean? I definitely had those moments. But our relationship as a whole has always been like very close. We share friends. She likes all the people I pick. They're both best friends with my sister. And I think that there's just been something so nice about that because we can relate to each other, both of us having gone through the same thing. And she has 3 kids as well.
Right.
And I think that, there was definitely moments growing up where I was like, but I also felt like so my own person.
For sure.
I never felt like, oh, I see that and I need to be like my sister. I never felt that way.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So, and I grew up, I was, mostly like dancing and theater and weird and entertaining her friends and annoying them. I think there's been times where I would have she'd have her friends over and I'd be like, Lola, we're going downstairs. I have my guitar. This is your dance. This is a song we're singing.
This was like 6th grade.
You're like, it was last week.
No, make up
She
these
would
songs and
literally,
just
like, make me go
annoy
down
her
naked.
and like get under her skin.
Sure, you were naked. You'd put me in like some
butterfly
stupid leotard.
or like,
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I would do all these songs like, what was that one?
Fly
The
butterfly.
fly.
Why do people ask why? And it was like, it was very stupid. Like, why do people use a fork and sometimes move to New York? And her friends are like, what's happening?
Stop.
That's normal sibling stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think that my sister's a really strong person and she as well has been through so much. And I think having that together and I think there's just like a strength there. There's a comfort.
Yeah.
There's something that no one would understand but us.
Right.
And I think that, I've been so lucky to have that.
Yeah.
How do you think your parents did that? Because you guys are such unique individuals. What do you equate that to?
My mom is amazing. My mom runs my sister's clothing line, the Jessica Simpson collection. Yeah. And my mom really would pay attention and see me like if I needed something different or like she would make that time, now that we're all parents, we finally get like the other side.
Yeah.
Like take me to my acting classes, take me, make that time to like let us both be individuals.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think, growing up, I was really an independent soul and I wanted to like do my own effing thing.
Yeah.
So they had to let me kind of be free and have that moment or at least feel free.
Right.
And sometimes too free. But
because you guys don't feel the same.
No.
At all.
No.
Like you're just, it doesn't feel the same where a lot of siblings do.
Yeah.
Where you're like, oh, okay, she's following in her sister's whatever.
Right.
Like you guys seem like 2 completely different human beings altogether in all the ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
They definitely are.
Yeah.
But it's what works.
I work with her mom, and I can tell you, like, her mom is very good at seeing each person's strength and like really catering to that. So I could totally see that she would raise Jessica a different way than she would raise Ashlee, and like bring out your strengths and encourage you in the way that you should go, and Jessica in her way.
Yeah. And I think younger too, I would come off way more rebellious than I even was because I was like, oh no, I'm not doing that. I would see how my dad would be like, oh, you can't talk to this guy or whatever. Or, here's your ring to save yourself. And I was like, he tried to give me one at 12 and I was like, oh, no, thank you.
You said
I won't be telling you when I have sex.
You can save that.
No way.
Meanwhile, I never did until I was 17, but I always wanted it to be open that you don't know what I'm doing. Or maybe it's worse than what I'm doing.
Until I was 17.
Also, you're kind of the opposite now, where it's like, now, I don't know, I feel like you're such an open book and you share it all.
Yes, I do. That's for sure.
You know how that is. I'm the same way.
Yeah.
How is your dialogue with Bronx? Because he's going to be 16.
It's
like,
open.
It's open. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I'm curious about that, you know, because
It's so interesting, like having a 15-year-old and then having the boy. So, you know, you got to be like, okay, so here's the deal. This is what it looks like.
Right.
This is what it looks like to get a girl pregnant. I mean, he's not
Yeah.
there, but, you know, just to have those open conversations,
yeah.
I feel like it's so important. And I feel like having those, other than that, your kids are going to be hiding things from you.
right.
Or you won't get the story from when they came home from a party and who had what there and what, you know, whatever that story is. And I feel like so far we've had like a really good dialogue with that. And,
Yeah.
you know, we're really, really close. I'm very lucky.
That is
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah. And he's a good
such a
kid.
good
so-
kid.
Yeah. He
Yes.
is. Yeah.
Aw.
Is it
I mean,
hard?
listen, you have 3, so you know one of them's gonna.
Yeah.
He's definitely going to be an easy one.
But no, co-parenting has for me been amazing. I
Really?
really love
That's
that.
amazing.
That's
Pete's
so
a great guy. Megan's amazing, and they also have 2 kids. And
Oh,
I feel like I really like
Won the
won-
co-parenting
Yeah, I'm like,
lottery.
wow, exactly. That's what I was just about to say. Won the co-parenting lottery. They're amazing, and you know, I feel like we're always on the same page, and if we're not, we get to the same page.
That's
and, you
so
know,
And then
nice.
Evan's like the sweetest stepdad.
Aw.
he is. He's
Is he?
like the best bonus dad. He's like
Yeah,
the
he's the
cool
best.
the cool
Yeah,
guy.
he's
over
definitely
there.
the cool dad.
Yeah.
he is. Oh, so they have a good relationship.
Yeah,
it's really
yeah,
sweet.
with all. And I feel like also we started when Bronx was 2.5, so he didn't
Oh,
know
wow.
different, you know.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And Evan and I were together by the time he was like 4.5. So he doesn't know anything but Pete
Right.
and Megan
Got it, yeah.
and me. And I mean, okay, that's weird. But did I say it right?
I think you
Okay,
did.
But Pete,
You
Megan,
did.
and me and Evan. Ooh, those
Megan
rhyme.
and
Yeah. It's Briar was really young when her dad and I separated, so she doesn't really know. It's the
Right.
same thing.
Right.
Yeah. It's just like they're used to
There's
what they're
an
used
ease of
to.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Because like her friends have asked her, like, it's just I don't even know what they would ask, but she basically is like, I don't know any different.
Yeah.
Like, I know that what do you mean? You know? So I think,
Yeah.
And we've also gone on like his flow. Like we used to have that like 3-4 thing, you know, the days that you have your kid.
Yeah.
And I think maybe it was like 10. He was like, no, I want to do 1 week, 1 week.
Oh, it was his
'Cause,
choice.
Yeah,
It
he
his
was like,
choice.
I want to have like my full week here and I want to have my full week here.
Great.
And
Great.
we kind of flow with that. And it's been that for
And so that's
so
what it
long.
is.
And that's what works. And like, we're so easy with each other. Like, you want to go on tour? You want to, you know,
Yeah.
it's been a real flow and natural good
That's
thing.
really nice.
You
Yeah.
don't actually hear that a lot.
No.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
No,
That's
and
why
when
I'm
they,
like-
and usually
Yeah.
when the microphones go off, they'll be like, "He's really awful."
And I wouldn't say that.
No.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Evan and Pete, they get along.
Yeah,
really well.
everyone gets along.
does.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah.
All around.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you sure? Because
Right.
Yeah. So Bronx, I'm
Give
like,
us the
you're lucky.
tea.
And Megan's my friend, and we go to dinner, and like, yeah. So it's
Oh,
great.
that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, yeah,
That is so cool.
yeah.
And really great for all the kids
Mhm.
involved.
For sure.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, these little kids that
I
just,
know.
there's so many.
There's so many of them.
There's so many.
And now I feel like, you know, we used to go to my sister's house and like have our like fun days, but now it's like all of us have a million kids.
You're
each,
running
so.
from birthday
Well,
party to
and
gymnastics.
extracurricular.
You know
Yeah.
what she
Yeah.
does though? And I don't know
What?
if you guys do this, but she goes to every person's birthday party.
Lauren
Every
loves
kid's
birthdays.
birthday party.
Ashley is so
You know how we get like a million
Like 3 every weekend.
birthdays?
Well, 3 kids, they're
She
all
doesn't
getting
miss
invited,
one.
right? Oh, it's a
It's
lot.
true. Ashley gets mad. She's like, okay, what are you going to do tomorrow? You want to hang out? And I'm like, I'm sorry, I have birthday parties. She's like, you don't even know that.
But you feel like you have to
I'm like,
go.
but the kids.
But the kids. That's
Yeah.
how I feel. I'm like, but the
Yeah.
kids. We have something after school every
Yeah.
single day.
Yeah.
And then on the
It is
weekends,
that.
there's things, and whether it's birthday parties or it's extra gymnastics or it's Girl Scouts or whatever
Right.
it is,
It's so much.
it's so much.
Yeah.
It is.
I don't remember doing that when I was little.
No, I
You
don't think we
didn't.
did.
Nobody did.
I don't think,
No.
I don't think any of us did. Our
But like, are
parents
they
didn't
too
do it.
busy? That's my question. Because
I mean,
I
I told you
probably.
yesterday. Yes.
I said
like,
Briar's
yes.
too
And
busy.
then did you guys
Busy.
get, did you get homework too? Because we do
yeah.
now, and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Yes,
I'm gonna
there's
fit this
homework.
in.
I have an issue with homework. I'm like, they're at school working for,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
however many hours. Then they come home and you have to do.
Right. And then
Homework
you're
with them, and
like,
you're
Like,
like,
wait.
but But they only have like a few hours. Like, let them be able to go outside and play and do whatever. I really have an issue with homework.
I agree.
Can you guys do the math?
No.
I'm so bad at it.
Oh my God.
I can't do it.
It's so
I'm
hard.
so
No,
bad
it's a
at it.
whole other method now.
Yeah.
Even in first grade, I was
That's
like,
right.
I don't understand this question.
I'm like, I don't
I
know.
feel like I
that.
used to do those flashcards, and so
Yeah,
I
you
would,
would
but now I'm like,
memorize.
wait.
No, you guys, because they didn't teach us how to
secretly
do it.
pull out my calculator.
Yeah.
And like, Mom knows the answer.
Like I can do it with my
I'm like,
fingers.
Ryder, plug your ears. Alexa, what's
I don't even know how to do it though. It's written different.
It's written
It is.
different.
It's
It's a
different.
whole
Yeah.
different.
Have you guys seen the Nate Bargatze stand up?
No.
Yes.
Oh my
He's
God,
so funny.
he's so good. He's like, what's with this new math? Like, why they change math? He's like, it's like someone showing up at your front door and you're like, could you go around the back and hop over the fence and
Right, yes.
come in? And then being like, well, does the front door not work? And he's like, no, it works great, but I want you to do it completely backwards and different. I'm
I
like,
know.
I don't
No,
know how to
it's
help them.
so
Well, that's
hard.
where it's good when like Bronx and his friends are over. I'm like, here, you guys.
Oh my God, that's
Hold
amazing.
Jagger. I don't know.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
helps.
exactly.
That does help.
Oh my God, yeah. I wish I had that.
I know.
I'm trying to think. I'm like, who is it? No, I think that, it's just everything.
Yeah,
The way things are. It's just so different.
Yes, for sure.
All of it. Rad Ideas is supported by Firstleaf. I have really been loving using Firstleaf. I get wine shipped right to my door, and I get to try ones that I never would have even thought to try before. It is so convenient and so accessible. I am loving the ease of it. I always like to start the year with something new. So this year, I am expanding my palette by trying new wines with Firstleaf. With personalized wines and convenient shipping, Firstleaf makes it easy to explore new wines from around the world. I love Firstleaf because they make it super easy to get personalized wine boxes delivered on my schedule. I can choose the day of my wine delivery, so it makes me feel like I am in control. To get my tailored box of wines from Firstleaf, all I had to do was answer some quick questions about my likes and dislikes on their website, and their expert team selected a customized assortment of world-class wines based on my preferences. Since Firstleaf delivers personalized wines right to my door, I can kick back and try new wines from the comfort of my cozy couch, all priced lower than what I'd pay at a wine store. Plus, if I get a bottle or shipment that I'm not loving, I don't have to worry because Firstleaf has a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Try something new this year with Firstleaf. Go to tryfirstleaf.com/ideas to sign up, and you'll get your first 6 hand-curated bottles for just $44.95. That's tryfirstleaf.com/ideas. Tryfirstleaf.com/ideas. And I have a hard time navigating, and because you have a 15-year-old and you've done ninth grade?
Ninth grade,
Ninth grade. So like all the grades, all the dynamics, you're saying it's easier, you think, with a boy. Has it started to shift at all? Like because he's a teenager? Like, do you notice?
No, I mean, he's like really easy and like, he'll give me that time and everything. And he really hasn't shifted.
No.
I mean,
He's the golden child, though.
He's
I always say.
always been, he was
Yeah.
an easy baby.
Yeah.
He was like
and
an
he'll
easy
be like,
toddler.
Mom, did I
He's a
cry
good
as much
kid.
as Ziggy and Jagger? And I'm like,
No.
no.
He never like bit a kid.
No.
Like, he was really like a
He
golden
got
child.
bit, But he was
always a
like
good
really
kid.
easy. But then I think when you have that sibling to look up to, like,
That's really great that they have him as their older
Right,
sibling.
Totally.
Oh, for
So
sure.
lucky.
It sounds like it.
Yes.
Because that's what people say. It's like, yeah, girls are harder younger, and then it switches. So I'm
Right,
like, is it
right.
gonna
It
switch?
switches. They
No,
say,
it's
with
opposite.
girls?
It is?
Yeah, boys are harder
I'm
when
like,
they're
you're
younger.
telling me it's gonna
because they're
switch
way
when they
more
turn 13
energy
and get hormones?
rambunctious. And then girls get hard as teenagers.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're,
Yeah.
Sorry, I got it wrong.
You're fucked.
Wait, so
I'm just kidding.
I'm like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't think it switches when they get hormones, right?
No, it gets
I don't know.
boys are hard when they're young.
because they're
Because they're what,
wild.
active?
Briar has been so
Oh, yeah, she's really
easy. Come
Briar's
to my
easy.
house and you're gonna get
It's
chucked in the
wild.
head with
Right,
something.
right. Yeah,
They're
the
like very
energy is-
physical.
Yeah,
Because you
there's
have
more
two
physical.
boys.
Boys.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
That's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
So I want to hear from you guys. What has been the biggest thing that you've been through with Ashlee that you feel like, thank God we have each other?
I mean, honestly, when we both moved out to LA and we just happened to move out at the same time in
Yeah.
04, like went from, recording this album to having this MTV show to just blowing up.
Yeah.
And she was so famous. I mean, it was honestly insane. And watching her navigate all of those moments, I mean, there was some like high highs and like definitely some low lows.
Mhm.
And I mean, you're such a strong person, but I feel like that was really intense, for a couple of years.
Well, the
It was.
fame, I mean, because, and like you said, your sister, but then you in your own right
Yeah.
blew up.
I mean, it was
you
crazy,
know?
yeah.
And you guys witnessed that and all the things. And I know like you guys were there through like the SNL thing and
SNL
like
was-
that.
Yeah.
I'm sure like it
They were
followed
actually
you for a long
with
time.
me
What
the whole
happened?
time. They were with me at my rehearsal, and they slept in the room with me the night
Hotel.
before at the Mandarin Oriental. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh
No
shit,
way.
you guys. I'm like
Yeah, we were
losing
all
my
in New York.
fucking voice. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
And the next morning I woke up and I couldn't speak. And I was like, because I'd done my rehearsal the night before.
Yeah.
And then I woke up the next day and I couldn't speak.
Yeah.
I saw the voice doctor that day and I had 2 nodules beating against each other.
Ooh.
So it was like that was a rough
What
go.
a stressful
We were-
time.
That was
What
another
happened
thing.
there? Take us
Let
through
me
it.
explain
Yeah.
something
Take
else.
us through it.
I know. I feel the stress just.
I know.
There
I
is
see
another
it.
thing in my life, like which I was going to say, which I never, have like talked about or said, but it's like the other thing is learning as a woman when you say no, or as an artist, as a human, as a whatever. So that day I said, I will not go on. I don't care. I can't speak. Meanwhile, I'm not saying this. I'm writing it down.
Yeah.
Because I can't talk.
Yeah.
It's like, and I'm like, won't do it. And then that's like that label is that making you go do something. I was like, my band's never practiced this. This is not going to go well. I can't do this. And then I think that moment of like having to do something, but then I think looking back, I would go, the power of my no and the power of me saying absolutely not, that's what I would go back and say.
Yeah.
So you
that's
took
what I would
something
do
from
different.
it. It was
Well, because,
like,
you were
Yeah.
forced into that scenario. And
Yeah.
But instead, I feel like it was a humbling moment for me. I
Yeah.
had the #1 song. It was like everything was about to go like
Dude.
somewhere. And then it was just like, whoa, the humility of not even understanding what grown ass people would say about you, like grown
Oh, yeah.
men,
Yeah,
and like
That's
yeah.
insane.
awful, awful things.
that must have
So
been really hard.
It was so hard. Oh
Yeah.
my God. To learn how to tune that out. And they were with me throughout all that. To tune that out, to find my strength, to get up and go again. I ended up going to this vocal coach that I didn't have to do the surgery. He like helped me through it. No, he died.
Aw.
But he helped you
But
rehabilitate.
this guy, Ron Anderson, he saved my life. He was the best vocal coach and helped me get through those nodes and get rid of them, which a lot of music artists get. I mean, mine was
course.
just probably the worst timing in life.
Yeah, your first SNL performance.
yeah.
But you know what I remember the day of SNL? Because you did like a run through and then we were sitting in the audience. I think Eric Podwell was right near us.
Oh my
And
gosh.
when it all went down, like, I mean, literally our mouths dropped to the floor. It was just such a bizarre.
Just silence.
Yeah.
And then the next day, I don't think as her friends, we could really understand the impact it was going to have on her personally, but
Yeah,
also that
right.
the entire, I remember we went to a deli for like brunch and everyone around us in the deli was talking
I think
about
it was like on the TV on the
What?
news.
CNN
like
was covering like
everywhere.
a war in
Awful.
Iraq, but they were also
Talking
showing
about
and
Ashlee.
talking about
Yeah.
Ashlee's, SNL thing. And so
SNL.
Oh
it
my
was just
God.
like, it was so surreal and
Yeah.
such a ginormous, like,
Yeah, when
moment.
you say it, it really was like everybody saw.
Oh
and
my
heard
God. And to
and
this day, people still, and what was hard for me was like, and she was there with me when I wrote my first album. And I mean, I wrote all these songs and I did all this. And it was like almost to have your credit completely
Right.
Oh,
taken from
Yeah.
you. And you're like, no, but I mean, I feel like having the show at that time was nice because all the people that were my fans stuck with me.
They knew
And
you
Yeah.
could sing.
I went back on stage and
Yeah.
I went back to it all. But I think having to find at a young age that like strength to be like, no, I'm good at this and I will keep going and I will keep
good for
fighting.
you.
And like
Ooh.
having
And
to
I
like
don't
write those
think I-
songs about it. And
I don't think I got that it would be such a huge impact because I just
Yeah.
knew that she could sing. And I was
Yeah,
like,
and the best
oh, it's like,
performer
yeah,
ever.
she's incredible. And I was like, you're her biggest fan. So when it did like make such an impact, it was so shocking because it's like, here's somebody that actually is extremely talented. And she's
Just
taking,
1
like
second
getting it
discredited
all,
everything.
yeah,
It
discredit
was- yeah,
it's all
it's
getting
bad.
ripped away from her. It was really horrible.
But also, it's like, if you think about that, it's so ridiculous.
Right.
Because here's the thing, is that there wasn't anything take away what people said afterwards, what was really so humiliating?
Right.
Right? It's
Yeah.
nothing. It's life. Like shit happens.
Well,
people have to do what they have to do when their vocal cords or whatever, or how many things are fudged to look a certain way. It's like, it's performance. Like there's smoke and mirrors.
Well, there's a lot of performers that just perform and don't necessarily like sing.
Right. Nowadays, like, how many people have done the same thing on SNL is what's kind of funny.
I noticed it the other day. I was like,
do you know what's funny?
What's wrong with that?
Here's a funny story is I went back to SNL. With my second album, and I can't find it anywhere.
What?
No, I've like searched for that performance. I cannot find it, but it's probably because that was their moment with me.
Okay, great. Let's petition to get you back on.
Your next album to get back on.
I was really nervous when I was on there, but I'm like, God, I can't find it anywhere. And that was fucking scary to do.
Going back and doing it again.
Yeah.
How scary would that be? Like, I mean, just like what a thing to walk through again.
Yeah, but it did it.
It's unfair because it came down on a lot more people than you.
Yeah. Oh, it did.
Right? Sure. And it wasn't.
No one knows that though, you know.
Nobody wants to say that. It like, you're one piece of a performing puzzle. There is a lot of people involved in every choice, every decision, every beat of that. But yeah, it came out against you. And that's really unfair. Yeah. And it really goes back to like what we were talking about earlier today of like what media does to people.
Oh, they spin things, like
they build you up to like tear it down.
Yeah. It's crazy. Like even on this podcast, they'll take things that we talk about and then the way media spins it, like they'll take something I said, but totally out of context. And they want to spin it and they want to make it look like
salacious.
Yeah. Or like, and I'm like, dude, like listen to the conversation. If you really want to know. It's just like these little pieces of things and what they can do.
They look for the thing. But I mean, I think for me though, it taught me humility. It taught me so much about myself and my own personal strength. And like, I think the most important thing is if you believe in yourself, like it taught me how at a young age to like, and I don't think without like my dance training and stuff, I would have known how to like get back up and go again. So it's like, I think that there's something about that too.
Yeah.
And as far as like the media goes, that's always going to be there. And it's like, you learn to ignore that. And
How old were you when that happened?
19, 20?
Yeah.
That's you were that young?
It's really young. It's like abusive.
Yeah.
It's abusive. It's bullying.
And like, I don't know, something like that.
That's like people think they have the freedom to bully, to troll. It's the same thing on Instagram, right? Like the comments or whatever. And it's like, what gives you the right to say like really mean things or like to tear people down? Like, what is that doing?
Yeah. And what did you go through emotionally? It sounds to me like you have incredible perspective. Are you spiritual in any way? Or
I am. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I can tell. I feel like everything's either happening for us or against us.
Right.
And it's all about how we look at it and what we take from it. And it sounds to me like you're taking the lessons in it. But how did you get to that point? Like, what did you have to go through to get to the point where you're like, okay, I can take this lesson?
I mean, I think for me, it was like, what was it? Like a week of sulking till I had to be like, okay, I need to like get all the steroids and be able to like, have my voice and get back on stage and like figure this out. And I feel like I owed that to my fans and to myself. And that's, what I did. And I don't feel like the harder part of it for me was everyone bringing it up, not that like I had let it go.
Right.
You know, like we're still doing that.
Still,
like, are we that's okay because it's a part of my life. No, I don't care.
I'm kidding.
Yeah. So safe. No, but it was such an important
part of who you are.
Part of my life. And I feel like,
Well, it's nice for you to be able to address it and talk about what you've learned from it and how it impacted, you personally and everyone around. You know what I mean? To have the platform to just talk about it. Yeah. Especially reflecting and looking back. Because how many years ago?
That's like, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like, I mean, I learned a lot through all that. I mean, through so many different things, not just that,
Right. You're like, that was it.
That was not my only lesson.
For life now.
Not my only. Oh my God.
But I like that you keep bringing up humility. Like it humbled you. And
I think so. It was like right before it was like, okay, this is going to be number one, like whatever. But I mean, listen, I still right after that, I wrote another album and it came out at #1. So it was like,
You're
I'll
like,
be okay.
Right.
we keep going.
Right.
You know? So I think not taking what people are saying and perceiving you as and really knowing your own self. And that was like, you know, a good time to learn it in your young age.
Right.
Yeah, really young.
Yeah.
To be learning that and in front of the whole world.
Right. Yeah.
But there are moments like that where you're like, well, it was kind of nice having my sister because I'd already seen what the world does to people. So like,
Oh my
you're
goodness.
aware of what could happen. And yeah.
Right.
And then, like I said
tricky.
earlier, it's like that no. You know, the power of no. And if I would have had that power to really been like, and which I would have now, or looking back, you know what I mean? I'd be like, I won't be showing up.
Right.
Period.
Yeah.
Right.
Hard stop.
But at 19 or 20, like, you know, how are you going to be able to
You're
do
being
it?
told, well, this is what
Of
we're
course.
doing.
Right. You don't have to
course.
Yeah, I feel like fame for people is like a quick route to self-help in a way.
Right.
Because you're met with your ego in a way that's not safe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just not.
Yeah.
And like what it does to people and like the ones who can persevere and like take the lessons and keep going. I think it's important because I think these are things people face on smaller levels, like going to school, our children. How do we teach them like what you say your mom says all the time, like what people think of me isn't my business. All of that, like I feel like doing that in the public eye it can be really dangerous of sorts for mental health.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Well, thank God social media wasn't around like
Oh, my
in the
gosh.
early
Thank God.
2000s.
Like,
Imagine.
For so many reasons.
So many reasons.
So many reasons.
Yeah.
There was
But
such a different freedom in a way, even though there was paparazzi. But
yeah, it was definitely the heyday of
But
paparazzi,
it is
right?
interesting because of that. I noticed like with the younger generation, like they come across very like if you're out or somewhere very put together. We did have a bit more freedom. We're like, woo!
Yeah.
it wasn't documented like every
blowing
moment.
off steam over here.
Yeah, you could do the splits on the side of the street.
Cartwheels down the street.
It's true. Well, how do you notice like social media with, you know, Bronx? Is he on social media?
Not like, I mean, he's a boy again, so it's not
So
like,
it's not
he
the
probably
same
like
thing?
looks at some girls on there or something, but he's not like out there like
Because in my mind, I'm like,
flexing
I'm not.
for social media.
Right.
Does he even have
I've
one?
never seen
I think
him.
it's a private,
private thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, private.
None of
But I
us
just
know
feel like
about.
I never want to let my daughter like just know.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But I wonder how that's going to be.
I feel
hard
like if
to
you can hold
navigate.
out till 15, that's pretty good because nowadays they want to start so young.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, they all like.
But he's
They're all-
not like looking at his phone like that.
No,
I feel
he's
like
not.
girls end up getting more into that like TikTok-y makeup and all that
Right,
stuff.
right.
You know what I mean? So
I mean-
with Jagger, I will be holding off until she's like 18.
Right, as long as
I'm sure I can at that
22.
point.
Yeah.
I know
What's
that's what I
your
think.
relationship with your phone? Because we were just talking about this
Oh.
and we're being really honest with it. We have a little bit of a phone issue.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
Little
we
bit
all
of an
do. And I'm like,
addiction.
when did this happen? We had like what, flip phones, iPhones?
Oh, yeah.
What, the
Sidekick?
sidekick?
Sidekick.
Yes. Yeah.
The BlackBerry.
The
And all that was so
BlackBerry.
much better because now it's like everything.
Access to everything,
Yeah.
constantly on it, and then I find myself being like, "Your kids aren't going to be this young, for, you know," and trying to
know.
consciously
Yeah.
put it aside and have that time. But then you're always like, "Oh, but I have to.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to respond to the.
Right.
Oh, this email. Oh, this," and it's like constant like distractions.
I think
I
we are
feel
all
it for
guilty.
sure. Yeah, I'm definitely
Yeah.
guilty
You
of
feel
that.
it?
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
Instagram, I keep deleting it off my phone.
And I don't even know
Oh,
what
no.
cool
But
things
then
to look
you know,
at. But
it's
you know, like
like
Pinterest. I'm
downloading
like,
it.
why did I sit here and look at Pinterest forever?
Right.
That's what I do when I'm trying to be good.
Right.
I go to Pinterest.
Yeah, like just
Because at least it
Also,
doesn't
like
make me
Instagram,
feel
too.
bad
Like,
about
why am I
myself.
like, what am I
It's
looking at? I'm like,
inspiring.
who
Yeah.
cares?
I know. Well, you
Right?
do that and you
Yeah.
just keep scrolling. You're like, what am I looking at? All these lives, all these people. Now
Yeah.
I'm depressed. Like,
I know,
Right.
it's
what is
depressing.
like positive?
It used to be like people's avocado toasted. Now I'm like, what am I actually watching?
Yeah. I'm like, I'm just going to look at like good news movement.
Right.
Just all this positive stuff.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that thing that it was like they asked a group of people like, what's the first thing that you do in the morning? And like the percentage was like, check my email, check my text messages, look at Instagram, whatever. And then it was like from 15 years ago, what was the first thing that you do in the morning? And like 100% was pee. Like,
it
wasn't like nobody like got on their phone and looked. It was like the first thing you did was get up and go to the bathroom.
Do you get on your phone and look?
When I wake up in the morning, my alarm goes up. I go up, I look at it, and I'm like, okay, I'll look at my email. I'm like, delete.
It's like how you wake up almost.
Yeah.
My alarm goes off, but then it's like Ziggy's like, Mom!
Me too. I don't have time in that. Not in the first part.
Yeah. Ashlee's the most chipper, annoying person in the morning. She's like,
good morning.
I feel like you're like that too. You'll like come in singing. What's your song?
Like we're like breakfast buddies on trips. But I'm saying to her, I'm alive, awake,
alert, enthusiastic.
I've sang that on trips with Rachel. I'm alive, awake, alert, enthusiastic.
Is that
so annoying? I'm like grouchy in the morning. I'm like, please both of you shut up.
We're ready to go.
You've always been grouchy.
I need 20 minutes. Like, don't talk to me for 1 second.
Wait a minute. How do you guys feel when someone brings in a new friend?
Depends on the friend.
By the way, good morning. I'm so excited for you to have this baby because
it might change you.
Get ready for your morning.
I've gotten nicer in the morning.
Actually, I feel like the beginning is nice because you're like sleeping and cozy with your baby and just like feeding.
Especially your first baby.
Yeah.
Kind of. If it's your
Well,
first,
you
you don't have to chase the other.
That's true.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Take advantage of like not having
They're
to.
in the bed with you and you can like lay there.
They're making it sound so romantic. Let me tell you something. It's like going to war.
We're like, we had the
that was
best
my
time.
experience.
She doesn't love our we're like, oh, feeding is so much fun.
Oh my God. They're like
giving
birth.
birth is the best.
The closest you'll ever be to God.
It's true. The nursing, though, is like, to me, the best thing I've ever experienced
Really?
in my life.
I did
Wow.
love breastfeeding.
I
I liked
it.
it so
Yeah,
much too.
it was like-
Yeah.
You liked it too. Yeah, we're all
You did? Oh, we
Yeah.
did.
I hope I'm on
love
that
giving
team.
birth. Actually, this last pregnancy,
She does.
I do. My last pregnancy was so nice because we were pregnant in 2020. So there was it was just me and Evan in the hospital.
Oh,
Which was like, usually we have everyone running in. She's been there when I've had my other deliveries.
Oh, yeah.
Where everyone's like, I'm wide open. Everyone's running into the room. I'm like, hey, here's my vagina. Welcome. I don't even care because I'm like feeding my baby.
Yeah,
but,
like, who cares
You almost
at that
passed
point?
out one time.
Was
it after I had Jagger? Yeah. Mama D walked you out of the room.
She's like, yeah.
Did
But
you
it
have
was nice
cesarean or
No.
But it was nice having that moment with just me and my husband. I was like,
Yeah.
and it was my third baby, so I was like, I got
This
this.
is
He
a
caught it.
breeze.
It was great.
No way.
Yeah, it was like a.
Did you
really
have an epidural?
I did.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
You're a
Yeah.
breeder.
Oh, yeah.
You're
For
a breeder.
Did
You
everyone
like
in here
it.
have
Yeah.
an epidural?
I did. She had cesarean.
Okay.
I had 2 cesareans, but I will say I tried for 38 hours with no epidural.
Oh my God.
And then
No, that's insane.
while induced, and then I got the epidural and I thought, there is a God.
Why did I do that to
Why
myself?
did I do that
But
to
I feel like
myself
now,
for what?
so many
Yeah.
people aren't. They're doing at home.
Like they
Which
go
I
to Walmart and get the
considered.
pool.
You did.
I did, yeah. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I was like,
The home
nah.
birth is popular right now, I feel.
It's popular,
popular.
and to each his own, but
It's
my
very
kids
cool.
probably would
It is
have
cool.
not made it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because we
Well,
went
that's-
into emergency cesarean. So
Yeah.
Ooh,
I mean, that's my
wow.
whole thing is the risk. You just don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know, but it is a beautiful thing. And I
Yeah.
know
It's
a lot of
gorgeous.
people that it's
Yeah,
for.
it's
And
amazing.
I respect
No,
it.
I respect it. I mean,
I know. I
for
was
sure.
like,
In
I'll give
theory,
water.
I would love to do that.
I like the idea too.
Yeah.
I
It
also
couldn't happen.
respect the fuck out of an epidural now.
Right.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
it's what I
Oh, for
respect,
sure.
and it's the epidural.
For your
Right.
second delivery, did you get the epidural right away?
I had to get a spinal one
Oh,
because
okay.
the first one with Elliot, it didn't work, so I could feel the whole
Okay.
cesarean. It's
No.
so fun.
Oh my
It's really fun. Oh, no, I shouldn't have said that.
Okay.
Okay.
No,
Oh, she
I've
knows
heard
all the
everything.
crazy birth stories.
does.
You've heard them
You
all.
gotta go
I'm
eat
like
the
the last
salad.
person.
It,
I've heard about
Oh,
the
yeah,
salad
it worked
dressing.
for me.
It worked for me too.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Mhm.
I didn't do this.
Where do you go? Is it like a restaurant?
It's
right
right
by
by
you.
you.
It's in
We'll go
Studio
together
City.
in Studio
Topanga or
City.
Tonga.
Okay.
Tonga.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's like your neighborhood.
I did.
That's right by you.
How soon should I be doing that? Like in 4 weeks?
Yeah,
You
maybe a
should
month.
do it.
I went
Yeah.
on my due date and I went into labor that
Are
night.
you
Really?
What?
On your due date?
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's
Yeah.
wild.
I know.
I went into labor that day too. It actually works.
Why? What is this dressing? Or what?
I don't know.
There's like castor
Maybe
oil
there's
in the
castor
dress.
oil in it or
I
something.
don't know. Don't quote me.
Wow.
I
But
love
it's
castor
good.
oil. I use it on like my eyelashes and my eyebrows.
Yeah, when you're ready, we'll all go get the salad.
No.
Okay.
What does it do? Is like
helps them
condition?
grow.
I put castor oil in my whole head because I didn't know you shouldn't do that. It's so thick. It didn't come out for like 3 weeks.
What?
It was, you do it like
but
on a
instead
Q-tip
of like
on your eyebrow, but
it like helps
what
your
does it
eyelashes
do?
grow and stuff. If you like put it on with
it's
like a
very
liner
thick.
thing.
You can't rub it in your
Really?
hair like that.
I didn't know.
I
this.
had no idea.
Nope,
This
me
is
either.
not
Not
a
a
clue
clue.
to me.
Ashley knows all the tricks, I feel
You
like.
do?
I
Is
know, I
this a
want all the
TikTok
tricks.
thing? Do you watch?
No,
Your
I
skin
just
looks
done it for
really
years.
beautiful. What are you doing with your skin?
I mean, nothing
Who
too
knows?
crazy.
You're not?
You just have good skin.
She has
I
good
feel
skin.
like I use
Oh,
that
that's
forever, but-
annoying.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fun.
Skin
I
is
know.
great.
We're
What are you
always
talking
oh,
about?
yeah. We always are like assessing everything.
Yeah.
And now I need your hair color.
Yeah,
Like,
we're
just-
I know.
That's the color I think
She
Leah
can
should
wear
have.
every
This would be
color,
cute
too.
on you. Huh? Who did you want?
Leah would be
Leah.
great in
Do you
that.
remember
Oh,
Leah?
yeah, she is.
Yeah.
She's red.
She's
right?
red right
now, but like red,
Yeah.
red, and we feel like it would
We-
be.
Go this
Yeah.
way.
Okay.
This
Yeah.
is a
I've
good
been
color.
red for a while now.
I love it.
I feel like
Yeah,
people are
for a
following
long
suit.
time.
You were like, I feel like the first.
Huh? Well, I
feel
was
like-
red when I had Bronx.
Yeah.
And then
Oh,
I
yeah.
Oh,
went to a different color for
Guys,
a while. And then
I have your Halloween costume.
What?
The Witches of Eastwick.
Oh.
sometimes where her mind goes, you guys.
Have you guys
I was
seen
like, which year?
Because you, there's like the
I like
dark hair.
that.
You'd
Yeah,
have to
yeah,
be Cher, and then you'd have to be Michelle Pfeiffer, and
Okay. I
then
don't
you would
know
be
it that
Susan
well.
Sarandon with the red hair.
Ah.
Cool.
I don't know.
Just
if
So
I-
watch it.
Speaking
Alright.
of those 90s, like practical magic.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
what was her name? Nicole Kidman had a good red.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Great
yeah.
red.
Yeah.
She's a good red
Yeah.
for sure.
Or you guys could be practical
Wait, did you
magic.
tell us how you and Evan met? Did you say?
Evan and I met.
I know you said your age, but I don't know.
Yeah,
if
I
you
said our age. I didn't say how. We met through Stephanie.
Oh, yeah.
Stephanie,
I was like, how did you meet? Yeah.
introduced.
Yeah.
Oh my god! And how long were you together before you got engaged?
Not long. We were together for like 7 months before we were engaged.
Really?
Oh,
But
wow.
remember, we were like, we're getting married. Like right away, we're like, please stop calling each other.
I was like, stop
wife
calling
and
him your husband. I'm
But we
uncomfortable.
knew, and every time we would be around each other,
Yeah.
it was like we knew. And now we're gonna be married for 10 years.
Wowzer.
So
I know.
It's wild.
And I mean,
Wow.
I'm so lucky. I love him so much. He's my best friend. And I
Aw.
feel like I was saying earlier, because he has those older sisters and whatnot, he also helped me navigate life in a different way too.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
he comes from divorced family, and he would just teach me so much about myself. And I don't know, it's just that one for me.
Aw.
Yeah.
And we're still having sex.
Let's talk about
No,
that.
because it is like long-term
It's a big deal.
relationships, marriage, all of it. We've been
Mhm.
talking about this a lot
I
recently.
want to do a poll. I want to know.
She is curious.
Yeah, I want to know like
Yeah.
how often married people do it. Like, because you hear like, oh, when you're married, no more sex and all of that. What do you guys think is the average amount of time? You don't have to say what you do. What do you think is the average amount
No,
of
but
time?
say what you do.
But say what you do.
But also say.
Well, you guys have been a decade in.
We were just talking about this the other night
Yeah.
at my mom's birthday.
Yeah.
Lola, really?
I do this.
20 years.
I do the splits a lot.
But what is it like once a week or like once a month?
No,
or like
I
what
mean,
is
I
it?
would
Not once
say,
a week.
like-
More than that. Like
No, I'm
3 times a week.
Oh my God, that's a
What?
lot.
Good
That's
God,
a lot.
Ashley.
Is that not a lot,
not 3
Ashley?
times a week.
Well, Evan's
not-
younger.
It's not always, but I feel like when I'm in like stride, you know,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, you know, the
That's
kids have gone to school, like, let's
Yeah.
do this, or like, you
Yeah,
know.
we were talking about the morning.
Do you feel like
the
you have to
morning
map out
sexes.
times, like because of the kids and navigating that?
We don't
Oh,
really.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
And
Like
my
it's-
daughter loves to sleep in my bed. So
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like,
You
you
really
know,
have to
like
map
got to
it
figure out
out.
that morning
So
or
do you
that
do
like
nighttime?
she's asleep, meet you in the guest room. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah,
Nighttime
meet me in
or
the guest
morning?
room in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, nighttime.
Nighttime or
depends.
morning?
It depends. I mean,
More nighttime
he's
for me, but
yeah,
I like
and he's more of
morning.
a night owl, and I like love to go to bed.
Me too.
Yeah.
I live
Oh,
to go to
like
same,
bed.
9 o'clock.
Oh, I'm
Like,
so
oh,
tired.
Yeah.
every night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like mornings are a good time when everyone's off
Yeah.
to school.
3
But-
times a week is a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
Mine
not
is-
doing. I'm not. It's not
Okay.
consistent, but it depends. But when I'm in stride, it's
Right.
like let's
Yeah.
go.
I,
let's
we go
go.
through
In
like
stride.
ebbs and flows. Like
Yeah.
sometimes
Like
where
in
it
heat.
is every week.
Yeah.
And then
minutes.
sometimes where it's like been like 2 weeks and you're like, okay, we gotta fuck.
We've
Right.
got it.
Yeah.
We-
There's a
it's-
moment where it's like
Yeah.
you're like, oh, well, it's been too long.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I got to make up for this and
Right.
pull out my tricks
yeah.
Right.
and
Like your
remind you
splits.
that I'm still great.
I
Pull out
also
your
think
tricks, I
people
love
get
it.
cranky and edgy.
Yeah.
And then like no matter what, if my husband's cranky or edgy, Rachel's like, you gotta, I'll be like, he's being a dick or whatever. And she's like, probably shouldn't say that. He's never a dick. He's such a good guy. She'll just be like, well, go have sex with
Go
him.
have sex.
Right.
And
I'm like,
I say other things
right.
in
It
that, but we
takes
don't
one
need to say
job,
it here.
Yeah.
You are right.
It does work.
Honestly, it makes him just like you so much more.
Oh my God.
You're
Yeah.
like, sure, you can do that.
Yeah. I'm like, can I go on a girls trip?
I'll take the kids to school today.
Yeah, you want to like,
Right,
you're
yeah.
like, I
use it
know
when-
how to manipulate
Totally.
this.
Rachel will think of my husband more than I do sometimes in the sense that like we'll
sure
be
you
somewhere and
appreciate
she'll be like, bring him a piece of cheesecake.
Yeah,
Oh,
give him
yeah.
like the best
Blowjob,
cheesecake.
like-
I'm like, make sure you I got an extra piece so you could bring it home to Jeff.
How long have you guys been together?
11 years.
Okay.
That's a long
Yeah.
time.
Wow. Yeah, we're the same. 11. Yeah. So
11
you have to
years.
be like reminded to like do those things and like have
Yes,
little
yeah.
moments and my husband's good at that though. He'll like take me to a hotel or do something.
Yeah,
or,
yeah.
like,
Oh, he does.
that's
It's
helpful.
romantic.
Yeah.
That's really
Yeah.
sweet.
That
I
is
remember
Yeah.
after I had my second, I can't remember. But my mom was
One of
like, one of them. My mom was visiting and she's like, what are you doing for protection now? And I'm like,
Oof.
abstinence? Like, what have sex? And she's like, Lauren, you have to have sex with your husband.
I
And I'm
love
like,
your
but
mom.
I'm like, it reminds me of your mom.
I know. Your mom is always full of
yeah.
information.
Yes. Oh my God, my
Insight.
mom. I know. She
Yeah.
sends her love, by the way. She's like, oh my God, you're. Anyway.
Aw.
Yeah. But it's the same thing.
But
My
yeah.
mom
so
does
open.
that
Like
too.
always,
Yeah.
you have to keep
You
your
gotta
husband
do
happy.
it.
I'm like,
I know. It is. It's so
Feels
true.
so old school.
It does.
Right? We're like, you've
Yeah.
got to keep your man happy. My mom will do that. She'll be like, well, why are you guys sleeping in separate beds? I'm like, Mom, don't worry about it.
We're tired.
That's not when we're doing it anyway.
No,
It's
right,
just so, like,
right.
stop tripping.
Yeah.
But I
Right.
feel like women of that generation are like, go in there,
yeah.
go take care of
Right.
that.
I don't know that my mom does that, but she does. She takes care. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But so like you say, like Evan's still like romantic and everything.
Yeah.
Do you find that like actions and words both kind of like he meets both of those things, or is one more than the other?
Mm.
Good question.
Like, I feel like he definitely, his actions, like, if it's been a second since we've like had that moment or that date,
Yeah.
like, or like, if you're like, oh, we haven't really done that moment together, he does do his actions.
Yeah.
He does that, and sometimes I have to like pull the words out, but I get them.
But you feel like you have to like work for them and they're not just like natural. This is just a question because we talk to a lot of people and it's like love languages and whatnot. And
Right.
certain people need certain things. And I
Right.
find I guess actions more than words in general, maybe
I
with
think
men, but I don't know.
actions is, yeah, the thing. The
You would
actions
agree?
are
Yeah.
like, look at these cute shoes he just bought me the other day. They're little
He
Saint
bought you-
Laurents.
They're
or
so
like-
Wait,
adorable.
he just
Thank
so
you.
I was
Two nights ago,
Yeah.
yes.
And he just surprises you with that?
Yeah, so those little things are like, oh,
That's
yeah,
so
I'm doing good.
so
You love me.
sweet.
So I think actions, you are right. And I'm probably more words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. What about you guys?
Actions, yeah. My husband can, I don't know, he's not a man of many words, but his actions always show me, what's the what.
Yeah, he's
Right.
right. He
What?
like cooks for
Who
you.
said I
Who
love you
does?
first in all of your relationships?
I did in a fight.
Oh, that's the way to throw it down.
Or, no, wait, he did in a fight. He was like, well, I love you, but, and I'm like, oh, that was romantic.
You're like, oh my God, wait, I don't get mad at you, but you
You're
said
a
I
pain in the ass.
love you.
Who said it with you, Brett?
Do you
I
remember?
don't remember. I really don't remember. I wonder if he remembers.
I don't remember either. I feel like we both were like, I love you. Guys were like, I'm going to marry you.
Yeah.
So we were like deep in there.
Yeah.
Like quick.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's another thing, right? Like, I guess when you know,
Yeah.
yours took 3 months.
3 months. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we were fighting. And then he was like, I love you. And I went, oh, shit. Like, oh, we're going there.
I probably said it first. Is my
I
guess.
probably, I feel like
You're
you're
going to
right.
throw that one out there. It was probably me.
Yeah, you were intense.
What about
Evan was
making
so
the first
good.
move? What about making the
Oh,
first move
good
or like
question.
initiating? How do you guys feel about that?
I'm trying to think. I had to like hold Brett off for a while because he would show up at our house like every night at like 1 a.m. and he would try to come upstairs. And I'm like, no, I think I was playing hard to get. And
you had a boyfriend.
Yeah, and I had a boyfriend.
You're like, oh, that's
Yeah,
so
that
sad.
I did. And then
which I think went in your favor because like it wasn't
because I kind of
serious.
liked him, but I was like, it wasn't as serious. I think, and then one night, finally, I think I had broken up with my boyfriend. R.I.P. He just died.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And I know, so sad. He killed himself.
Shit.
I know. Do you remember Bobby the model?
From like
Yeah, wait,
Archstone
He was like
Yes.
the model that lived above us in our apartment.
I just remember like that.
Oh,
He was like on Abercrombie
Remember
billboards. He was like
he just
naked.
passed away
like,
like
Ooh.
a
so
month
sad.
ago.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
no.
Yeah.
It's so sad.
But anyways, I
Oof.
called him and broke up with him. And I called Brett and I was like, I'm single.
And the rest is history.
And the rest is history.
3 kids
Yeah.
in 20 years.
Right.
Well, it's just been such a long journey.
It has.
I know.
It has.
I mean, just to
It's been fun.
And
It
by
has
the
been
way, back
fun.
to that note, if Evan were here, he would say, I definitely
Made the first move.
was like, come into my room and
Yeah.
You did.
Shy here. No, I definitely did.
But Evan came from so many like women, like he has so many sisters and like a very, powerful mom. And like he was so good with your personality and
I know.
He
Like, come
was.
to my room and don't ever leave.
and also Evan's
Definitely.
like, he's such a dude, but he's like, where's my blouse? Like
Yeah. For
he's
sure.
also like such a,
Well, I mean, the shoes he
Sure.
picked out clearly.
Yeah, he's
was
very good
like,
style
taste. Yeah.
He knows
Well,
what's
his mom,
up.
Yeah.
look, I mean, he's got
That is-
impeccable taste.
Yeah.
That is good.
Are you sweating? I'm really hot.
I know. Sorry, it's hot in here. We haven't
Get
been on
naked.
before.
We had to put on the heat earlier because we're little.
Grannies.
I do too every morning. I'm like, heater.
It's so cold. This was so. I just felt like such a fun like catch up. And
This was the best.
I know. I feel like there's more to be had.
I know. We need part 2.
Yeah, part 2
Yeah.
for sure. There's so
Seriously,
much
yeah.
more.
Anytime.
For sure.
I'm so happy that you were willing. I mean, not willing, but like, willing.
Well, this
But
is
to
my
be your
first
first
podcast.
one.
Yay!
And
I'm
bring
never
it
like,
forward.
hey, let me go share. But
She's
sharing
always-
with my friends is easy.
Yeah,
so.
she's very shy to share. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
I
especially
know, it was so
publicly,
cute because you were like, well, what? Maybe we could talk before. Like, what are we going to talk about?
Yeah.
So I know what to talk
I'm a very
about.
private
Like,
person now,
Yeah.
so,
yeah, of course. And
Yeah.
you know, as a mom and everything, and being
Mhm.
like we said, like being in the limelight like for so long,
Right.
And of course, you're more private, or maybe there's things that you're more reserved about, or whatever. But
Right.
we
Yeah.
try to make it,
No, you guys are the best. I'm
Yeah.
glad I did
Yeah.
it.
I know. We're so happy you did it too,
Yeah.
and you brought your girls, our girls,
I
all of us.
know. Well,
It's
let's all have
awesome.
dinner.
Let's
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Let's,
Can we?
let's
Yeah.
And I want to get the
100%
kids
do it.
together too.
Let's
I
do
feel
like
like
a fun
Briar
kids
hasn't seen
let's
the
do
kids
it.
in a minute.
The fact that they're all the
Yeah.
same age.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and there's
Yeah.
we literally have so many kids running around, and then you're gonna add
I'll be
yours.
doing
to
I
it.
know.
Yeah,
You
we're
can just
ready.
be in the corner breastfeeding.
On the teat. Yeah.
I'm
What do you do
jealous.
on the-
See, I see
I get
babies,
jealous.
and like Briar's 9, and I'm like, I
Yeah.
need a little.
Yeah.
Do you want
Would
a
you
little?
have
Do you
another?
think?
Do it.
I mean,
She would. She would. She
Why
would have
not?
another one.
You should.
well, I don't know.
You could.
You would.
Do it.
Oh, okay.
Like there's some elements we have to work out.
yeah.
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 I
Sorry.
always say I'm done, but
Oh, are you done? That's what I wanted to ask
Yeah.
you.
I always say I'm done.
But that book's not
I
closed.
secretly
that
hope she
door's
gets
not
pregnant.
closed.
No, I'm
Yeah.
kidding.
She's
not.
also like bad at taking birth control. Like, she's like not a consistent person.
I mean, it's
so.
also
Evan
awful
would
that I still
totally
say
have a
birth
fourth, but
Yeah.
but for my brother is 4. It is a game changer.
Yeah.
3 to
for
4 is
sure.
a
You
lot.
feel, oh,
Are
really?
you done, Lauren?
Yeah, I'm done.
You're done.
I'm done. Vasectomy,
3,
done.
Oh, you're done,
Yeah,
done.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just beginning.
You're just beginning. We all do it, everything at our
Well,
own
different
time.
stages. cycles,
Yeah.
and-
Yeah.
But it's nice because, you know, and you have them that have done
Yes.
it. And
Oh my
seen
god!
it and been
And
in
now
it.
we all get to have a baby again. Like we don't have to.
And
have them.
Jagger's like, I'm the babysitter.
Yes.
We had our
Oh.
baby shower at my
Amazing.
house recently, and Jagger was like, I need to be there because I'm the babysitter.
That's
She's
so
taking
cute.
it very seriously.
Yeah.
Oh, and
love
my
it.
brother and my sister-in-law she's 7 months now, but like it's that, so I have a baby.
Oh yeah.
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 I can't look at the babies because they make me want a baby.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think
Oh, yeah.
babies are little, when it's not your own, it's like they're just blobs, you know?
Yeah, but once,
if you've never had
once
one.
you've gone
Yeah.
through
Yeah.
it, you
That's
know.
And then once you're out of it, you're like,
You're like,
I
okay.
I
that.
miss that.
I miss it
Okay.
like
Yeah.
so much. I just watch old
Yeah.
videos of Briar, like,
Oh,
that's what
I
you
know.
know, and
There's-
it
It
kills
goes
me.
fast.
There's this, I remember the moment when I first got Elliot on my boob, and it's like he latched and then just started rubbing with his little hand.
it's-
And I was like, if there is a
Yeah,
God,
this is it.
this is it.
Uh-huh.
Like,
Wow.
this is
That's
it's
sweet.
like a key to the universe.
It
You're
is.
just like,
I've heard that about breastfeeding, that when it works, it's like there's nothing like it.
Right.
Mhm.
But if it doesn't, it's okay too.
if it doesn't, it doesn't.
You know, because you don't want that, if you put the pressure on yourself,
right.
it's
No.
like,
But I believe the same for like giving birth. I don't know if you guys ever felt this way, but I would feel like every time I would give birth, the lights in that hospital room would change and you could just like feel God. It was like this like,
Yeah.
no,
magical.
you know what?
Did you feel
That's
that?
the
after
epidural.
the epidural.
Lord is also God, okay?
God is the
It was also God. But I did
Yes.
have that thought. I remember like, and I saw the mountains through the window and the light, and I was like, I could give birth every single day.
Yeah.
I remember you sent me a picture of, I still have it. You said,
What?
it makes me want to cry. I was high on my morphine and just had Elliot, just had that nursing moment. And you sent me a picture of the sunset of the day he was born.
Aww.
You're like, here's the
That's
sunset.
sweet.
I'll do that for you.
Okay.
Yeah, you're like, this
Sweet.
is the
So
sunset
cool.
on the day
That's
Elliot was born.
That's really
That's
sweet.
really
That's
sweet.
really
Love
sweet.
that.
And then
So sweet.
I know.
I'm
So
so
sweet.
yeah, it's a really
Aw.
special experience.
Yeah.
we're
Well, the
about to have.
sunset up here is probably really beautiful too. I'm
Yeah.
sure it was like incredible. Maybe you could send one to Stephanie.
Yeah.
can.
On the day her baby
Yeah.
is
No matter
born.
where I am, Steph.
Yeah.
I'll hit you up.
Your
you
new
will get a
thing.
picture.
She's like, the baby's born. Where's my fucking sunset?
My first thought was like, God damn it, where's my sunset? We will do that. Oh, best friends are the best.
Yeah,
Yes, they are. We love you guys.
We just
You
bumped
really
it.
got me.
Rob is sick.
Yeah, I'm sick.
What's wrong?
What ails you?
It's like a flu, I think. So they told me I'm negative for flu, but
What?
said it's not COVID, not positive for flu or pneumonia.
But
Or
can't they-
RSV?
They didn't test me for RSV.
But isn't there like, there are many strands of the flu, right? So
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
They gave me flu medication.
okay.
Said if I've had a high fever for like 3 days.
Mm,
Kind of a shockingly high fever for an adult, right?
103.
That's high.
Do you still
dude.
have it today?
No, I didn't take it this morning, but I don't think so. I had just taken a hot shower, so maybe that contributed, and it was a forehead temperature check. When they took it at the urgent care, it was only 101.8.
Are the rest of the troops
The
sick?
household is okay?
They're fine. Yeah, not sick yet.
Well, how'd you get sick?
Hell if I know.
Bummer.
I went to a Boy Genius show that was indoors in close proximity, like 250 people in a little club.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, do you carry hand sanitizer with you?
Natalie does.
Was she with you at the show?
She was.
And do you break it out often?
I wasn't touching things, so I didn't really need to.
Well, I think I've talked about this before because like I read something and it's actually washing hands, not hand sanitizer. But I would have to imagine if you're like, you know, excessively hand sanitizing.
Hand sanitizing. Oh, me, I'm just hand sanitizing.
that might have the same effect, but it was something like 35% less likely to catch a respiratory illness if you wash your hands at least 5 times a day. I'm not a doctor. Don't quote me on
I wash my
it,
hands
but
at least
it was
5 times a
something
day.
like that.
But you also couldn't use the bathroom at this venue.
Ooh.
Was it a porta potty?
No, it wasn't a porta potty. It's a really old venue called The Smell. And they normally they sold out the Hollywood Bowl. They're normally playing like arenas. And they did this secret LA show. And there was like 2 of the most disgusting bathrooms I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, I'm not down.
And anytime anyone used it during the show, it was like an acoustic show. You could hear the pipes just hissing for like 30 seconds as loud as the band. So you couldn't really use the bathroom.
Are
during the
you
show.
a big fan of their work?
Yeah. It's
Wait, who was it
Phoebe
again?
Bridgers.
Boy
It's
Genius.
Boy Genius.
Oh, Boy Genius.
Phoebe
Yeah,
Bridgers,
sure.
Lucy Dacus,
Yeah,
and
of
Julian
course.
Baker.
Of course.
So
They just won 3 Grammys.
I know who they are. and
That's pretty rad.
I get it. I just didn't know if you specifically just went because you go to shows or if you were. actual
Or
fan.
is it more like Natalie's?
We both.
You both
Both like that
Okay.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're rad. I want to get back to like public bathrooms because I feel like this is important.
Yeah.
If it is like a porta potty situation and you have to go really bad, do you just hold it or will you use the porta potty?
I think it's different for me. I can use a porta potty. It's fine.
Because
I'm
if you're
standing
peeing.
and peeing into they usually have like a side.
Let me tell you why
thing.
that's not
That's not-
fine. Let me tell you why that's not fine. If you're standing and peeing in a porta potty like that, you have to face the pit of despair.
Oh.
Like,
No. There's usually a
can't.
pee
A urinal.
bucket thing.
a urinal. No,
on the side.
I'm talking just one whole toilet seat porta potty situation. I'm not talking the fancier version with a separate urinal. I'm talking just the
I don't think
potty.
there's a fancy version.
I don't
the
know if that's
hole.
a fancy version.
It's an upgrade. It's an upgrade
it?
if you have a urinal as well. You know what I'm talking about.
I'm getting disgusted right now.
Yeah, it's
oh
disgusting.
my God.
What?
Speaking of disgusting, you
What?
have no idea what I freaking walked in the bathroom to last night.
Do tell.
Shepard was like, I pooped in the potty. And I came in and he pooped on the potty, on the floor, in the sink, and on the walls.
Excuse me?
And I was like, how did you do that?
Wait, what do you mean?
And he was going, candy, because he gets a candy and he poops on the body. Anyways, carry on. It was
How
really
did it-
fucked up. Like, I was like, this is the worst. This is like a CSI crime scene. It was horrendous.
What if you're like, it was Jeff?
And Jeff's like, candy.
I think Vincent's been doing this thing where when he poops, he goes and like squats under the table and you can just hear him like
Yeah.
grunting.
Aw. They have their little things.
You know, I know you want to talk about the porta potty more, but I want to talk about what is that need for privacy? Because it's so interesting. Like Elliot was
Even
going,
in a diaper.
yeah, and Elliot was going to the bathroom. He's like, don't look at me. It's like there's something so private
Vulnerable?
and vulnerable about it. But
Pushing
even a
poop out.
baby will like go hide when they go to the bathroom. Like, what is that?
Calvin doesn't have that. He like
Oh, really?
poops with the door open.
He's like,
and
come talk to me.
pretty much. He's sitting there just like chatting.
I'd say
wow.
I think it's probably personal.
What do you mean?
No, I mean
What
like
do you mean?
individualized.
Oh, you think? I think it's like an innate thing that they like, you kind of crave privacy. Like kids will go in the corner or, you know.
Well, you think it's a like shame thing?
I think it's definitely something written in our DNA. It's not taught. You know?
My friend sent me a picture the other day. She's like, this is what I'm dealing with while I'm trying to poop. And it was like the dog basically head on her lap, both of her kids holding hands right there trying to talk to her, like all at the same time. And I'm like, it's very common, especially with parents, I find.
Oh, yeah.
That kids are like, no, you can never go to the bathroom in peace.
The minute my pants drop, the door opens. No matter what, if
That
I'm
could be taken
changing,
in many ways.
no matter what reason my pants are dropping for, someone's
Yeah.
trying to get in the room. I'm like, is there a bell that goes off in the house?
Do you not lock the bathroom when you use it?
I can't. I mean,
You lock the bathroom when you use it?
Yeah.
no.
That doesn't even cross my mind.
No.
I often, well, especially peeing, like you don't even close the door.
Oh, I don't close the door. Peeing.
No.
I'll sometimes not close the door peeing. But
You-
100% locked if it's not
If you're going
pee.
number 2.
Yeah.
Briar and I were like at a public, kind of like an arcade, but like a Dave & Buster's type place, right?
And you
And we
leave the
went into,
stall
like-
door open when you
No.
publicly...
We went into a family bathroom, but it was like something I had never seen. Like you had to like wave to close it, whatever. And it says it locks, right? And so Briar goes pee and then it's my turn and I'm peeing and I'm sitting there. It was not locked. This big, like this large older man opened the door wide and I was sitting there peeing. Briar's washing her hands. And I was like, hello. Like, I didn't know. And I made a joke because Briar was watching a show where they do like, when they get uncomfortable, they do jazz hands. So I did that for Briar and I was like, I'm in here.
Did she
And
laugh?
she got a kick out of it. So we kept reenacting it and it was like her favorite thing. She was like, Mom, remember when the guy opened the door and you did the sarcastic, uncomfortable jazz hands?
Oh, she called them the sarcastic, uncomfortable
Or she called
jazz
them,
hands?
I forget the term. It was something, yes, but whatever it is, she used that. and
That's
so now
cute.
we do it sometimes and we're like, I'm uncomfortable. Okay.
Okay.
I'm done.
I think I'm uncomfortable.
Every time you guys, and like the guests won't know, we'll just be like, so. Every time we talk to Rob.
You know what's a
every
weird
time I
thing?
talk to you guys.
You know what's weird that it just got to, like, yesterday?
Ooh, got us moded.
You
Sorry.
moded us.
What?
Elliot seems to be reacting now when I change in front of him.
Oh.
And I said, are you too old for me to change in front of now? Like, when does that happen? And he's like,
interesting.
it happened. He's like, yeah, don't change in front of me anymore. So then I was changing the other day and he walked in. He's like, I told you not to change in front of me anymore. I'm like,
you
stop walking in my bedroom.
Yeah.
But I can't believe we're there.
That's a thing.
That's a thing.
I was
Well,
thinking,
I think it happens when there's, I think, different genders. I'm sure.
well, that's what I was gonna
Briar
say.
care?
No, we shower. She's like, we'll shower, whatever. But I did have that thought. Like, does
When
it
is
cross
that
their
gonna-
mind? Or like, when does that stop? Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are gonna be
Oh.
like, she's gonna be 18. You're gonna be 50, and you're gonna be taking showers together.
Yeah.
I think probably for her when she's,
I don't know though. When it's the same sex, I do wonder because like we're very open and I'm always like, mommy's on her period. You know, like we're very.
I'm like that with my kids too. They were pointing at the river outside saying that's your flow.
I think it depends on the family. I've known someone that like him and his parents and siblings still like hot tub naked together.
That's
like how old?
Weird.
Oh,
He's a
sorry.
he's a grown adult, and they're like,
Is he not from? Is it Casper?
no, they're from here.
Oh, I know. Is it Casper? Wait, I'm sorry.
Wait, sorry, they're from here?
Yeah, they're like Orange County guy.
Huh.
I always thought it was
No,
weird.
that's a little weird.
But, if the family's very open with that and nudity's like not a thing, then, right?
His like parents still live down the street from him. I think his wife finds it weird.
Does she not participate?
I don't think she participates. No.
Can we call them?
I know, I have questions.
I just think that's a little different. But there's people that grow up in like, nudist colonies
right.
and stuff like that. It's just a little different.
I feel like if it's not a thing, it's not a thing. And what?
I don't think that once she goes through puberty, she's going to be showering with you. I don't think that's
Probably
going to
not.
happen.
No,
that's you imagine you showering with your mom
Yeah, no.
now?
Yeah. Now?
That's just weird.
I'm just going through puberty now.
If it was another if it was like Germany, though, I don't think it would be considered as weird.
And I'm not even
don't think it's
saying
weird.
it is weird, but it's weird. You know what I mean? Like culturally, it's not the norm. It's abnormal.
I do think that here, like in the United States, right? Like I do feel like we're way more conservative with that stuff. This is obvious, in like Europe and whatnot. And I actually side more with the European mindset, like it shouldn't be such a thing.
I agree completely.
I mean, I'm not going to be walking around naked or something we're doing the next podcast topless. So hope everyone's comfortable with that.
Let's invite Allison Brie.
Oh, she's down.
Yeah. But I don't think there's anything in different cultures, it's like totally normal to be naked. It's just a little bit different here.
It is.
I mean, I grew up, my parents were always naked.
Walking around the house?
I saw my parents naked all the time.
I feel like, yeah.
I also grew up with two hippies.
Right. Yeah. No, I grew up in a very comfortable household, Rob,
never seen his mommy's
never.
After, it was like Elliot. I think after a certain age, it was
you were like, stop.
I think she wasn't like parading around with it.
I can't imagine Jana parading around naked.
She's visiting next week. You guys want to come see her?
Oh, yeah. We should have her on.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Aw.
Yeah, let's embarrass Rob.
Don't listen. He's so annoyed at our jazz hands.
You're only doing one hand, too, because you won't put on your coffee cup.
Coffee.
And this one's Al Bundy.
You are Al Bundy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I read recently that Ed O'Neill said that he almost went into the mob, but then he got married with children or something. Did you read that?
No, but that's a powerful move he made.
Yeah, right?
It's a power move.
Anyway, I don't know enough about it to speak further, but I did see that headline.
Okay, but you heard that somewhere.
No, I saw a headline somewhere. I'm sure if we Googled it, it would come up.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I got a question from one of our audience members that I think was an interesting topic.
Yes.
Can we call him a fan?
I said audience member.
Can we call him a fan?
Yeah.
Rob really wants
Yeah.
fans.
We got a call from one of our fans.
From one of Rob's fans.
Okay, good.
Asking, when you guys were in your 20s, did you date to marry, to find the one?
Oh.
Or were you just dating for fun or security?
I think my mentality was always, if I'm getting into something, that's what you picture down the line if you're in love with someone.
I don't think that's everyone, though. I think some people in their 20s are just having fun. They're not looking for a long-term partner.
That's what I'm saying is like I had 2 long terms in my 20s. That was it. Like,
so you weren't just having fun and fooling around and just...
Right. I was in 2 long-term relationships. My whole 20s were taken up by relationships, and that was only 2 people.
But then did you ever get to the point where you then regretted that? Like, dang, I should have had fun and just like dated around in my 20s because that's when you do that?
No, I think...
Yeah, but once you reach like a certain age in your 20s, the whole first season of Masters of None is kind of about that, where like he's going to meet this person and they're just at an age where it's going to lead to marriage or it's not. And if you're just somewhat compatible, then that's probably where it's going to lead.
Well, I don't know. It's such a tough thing, and it's a tough thing for women, especially women who want to have children, because you only have a certain window, right? So I feel like it really depends on what you're wanting, and out of life, your passions, whatever. You really want children. That's probably a different mentality for girls in their 20s. And
the cool thing, though, is you can freeze your eggs now. Whereas that wasn't on the table for us in our 20s.
No, but it's also not on the table for a lot of people because it's expensive and it's a thing. So I don't think that's like a super accessible thing for everybody.
Right.
I think it's really a case-by-case thing. Like for me, I went out of a long-term relationship, like did a little bit of dating and did not like that. And then I met Natalie and was like,
how old were you when you met Natalie?
I met her in high school, but
no,
we started dating.
Met her to date her?
When I was like 22, 23.
Okay, you're an example.
So you're an example of dating to marry. So for me,
how old were you when you started dating Jeff?
Well, I was 33 when I started dating Jeff, but my whole 20s, I would say I was dating to marry and then also having placeholders, if that makes sense. Like, I always knew I wanted to find my person. I was looking for my person since I got on this earth. I was never like, I'm just going to have fun. I was looking for my person. But in the meantime, if I wasn't with him, there would be someone I would date for fun. Does that make sense?
You're somewhere in between, like very casual and looking for a long-term monogamous relationship.
Yeah, I always wanted a long-term monogamous relationship, but it wasn't always on the table. So if it wasn't on the table, then in the meantime, I'd have fun. Mm-hmm. So I think you can do both at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I keep going back and forth because I definitely, if I was dating in my 20s, that was the thought behind it. It's like, if you're going to put time into somebody like that, or for me, like you're going to see a longer future with them, which would be marriage, right? Yeah.
If you can emotionally handle like having fun and in your 20s and not taking things too seriously, there's nothing wrong with that. But for some people, that doesn't work.
It can be really hard and really challenging to do.
But I would say just generally speaking, if you're not, like, you should have as much fun as you can in your 20s because looking back, like, there's not a ton of responsibilities before kids and and maybe you do have kids in your 20s, but I'm talking with people that, don't and are just dating or whatever. I feel like that's a good time to do whatever you want, travel, all of it.
Yeah, I think if I could talk to my go back and talk to that version of myself, I would be like, don't worry. Like, you're going to find your person. Just enjoy these experiences. Like, have your Sex in the City moments.
Right.
Like, enjoy it, travel, be young. Don't take it all so seriously, because I think I hurt myself a lot.
By just focusing so hardcore on that and not embracing
and
present
not
of it.
embracing, like, this is just...
I will say, even though I was in a relationship, I traveled so much. So I still did that pre-kids, even in a relationship. So...
Well, for you, Olivia, though, don't you think part of that journey was why you were ready when you met Jeff? Like, without having done all of that, you might have just been like, oh, this is another fling.
Yeah, I definitely, by the time I got to him, was 1,000% ready. I was like, been there, like, done.
So you having the freedom and being able to have your fun prior probably contributed to you being ready when you didn't meet him.
Yes, but I would say what contributed the most wasn't the fun. It was more the kind of pain and loneliness of that experience, Because I was like ready to not feel that way anymore. And just like, also it was like the alcoholism and all that stuff. But, like, I do think that a lot of times, like, loneliness, pain, like those kind of things get us ready in different ways than just having fun. Because it's not always that fun.
Right. That's important to
people
about.
Catch feelings, and then you get rejected, and then people love you and you don't love them, and then you love them and they don't love you, and it's just rough. The 20s are freaking rough for a lot of people.
I would not want to revisit. Well, not like I had a bad time. I had a great time in my 20s. I just mean the mindset of like just being older and like looking back like and everything and then you're like, oh, you didn't know shit, And so it's like going back to that and not having the tools and like how to deal with it and
Yeah, you were pretty,
hard.
To be honest though, Rachel, you were pretty level-headed in your 20s. Like, you didn't go through a lot of the ringers that a lot of people did.
Those came for me in my 30s.
They're here now.
Yeah.
No, but it's true. Like, you didn't suffer the way a lot of people suffer in their 20s. You're doing that.
No, she did it early in her like teenage years.
I don't mean to. No, she did not.
No,
she didn't.
No.
I think some of her biggest life lessons came a little bit later than the 20s.
Sure, but she was also like pretty wild and unhinged in her teenage years.
She was not unhinged.
I was not unhinged. I was never like a party girl, quote unquote.
She was even stable in our party girl atmosphere.
Yeah.
Like, I
was the driver.
Yeah, she would drive. We would go out.
Not a drinker.
Every freaking night. I am not exaggerating. Like 7 nights a week. Like I said, I was like looking for something. And Rachel would stay home some nights. And I'd be like, why are you staying home? And you'd be like, I'm going to journal. And like, I'd be like,
I'm going to journal?
You used to stay home and journal.
I did not.
On God.
And journal?
And journal.
Just write.
Yeah, you would write. You would stay home and like be like, I'm just going to do this. And I'd be like, it's so weird. She doesn't want to go to the club.
I'm not a drinker. I wasn't drinking, but I did like to dance. I would go to the club to dance. Literally.
I know.
What a nerd. What a nerd. Everyone was like partying. I'm just like, I just want to dance.
Yeah, but you saved yourself a lot of pain, is what I'm saying.
Last thing, let's do another question.
Okay, what?
So my boyfriend, a 24-year-old, and
you have a 24-year-old boyfriend?
This is the question.
I want to meet him.
This is the question. My boyfriend, 24-year-old male, and I, a 22-year-old female, have been together about 3 years, lived together, travel, the whole shebang, madly in love. I spent 2 days with my best friend where she lives, and he went and stayed with another friend of his, a guy. comes home last night and we're hugging. I start to smell latex and smell of semen or something, like super strong. So much so I reached into his pocket myself and took out a used full of jizz condom. Couldn't believe my eyes and instantly went into panic mode. He told me he had a posh wank. He also lies about not masturbating. I catch him all the time for small white lies, which also makes me think, what do I trust?
Nothing.
Really struggling here. I have to do something, but I'm not sure what to do at all. I see him tonight back at home where we live together. What should I do about finding it?
Her first reaction is like, trust nothing. And in my mind, I'm like, oh, well, he was probably just jacking off into a condom and had it in his pocket. Because, like, why would he ever bring that in his
Because he didn't
pocket?
want to leave it at his homie's house and he saw it on the floor and was like, fuck, I got to pick that up.
Yeah, but he would
Shoved
throw
it
it
in his
away. It was
pocket
obviously
and,
like in his car that because he just like whatever jacked off in his car into the condom and was like, I got to bring it in and throw it away. He wouldn't travel from point A all the way home, right?
Do guys jack off in condoms?
If you're in a car?
That seems
I've never
weird,
heard
but
of
it
that.
also seems weird that he would keep it in his pocket.
Right. My point is keeping it. I know
It's
guys
his
like
homie's
it's the same thing as
sperm.
like a sock. Don't guys like didn't like in their youth like into a sock in the car?
Yeah, but I think that's
right,
different.
Rob? Is that true?
I guess. Yeah.
Oh, he's
'cause,
getting-
like,
some? Yeah.
But why does he have the condom? I wish I have questions.
Shade balls.
Do they use condoms when they have like I have so many I just need to talk to these people.
But I also think like it would have also smelled like
It was new.
It would have smelled like something else though if it was not just a masturbating condom. Like you can tell if
like the condom was Rob. Hold
right?
on.
Am I right or no? If it smelled
Way to be graphic, Rob.
if it smelled strong like latex and jizz, like that sounds like maybe it was just him masturbating.
I actually kind of believe him.
Because I think you would smell if there was
It's
a
not even
condom that
that,
had
it's
been
the
in a
fact
woman.
That it's in his pocket. Like
But
it
the
came from the
jizz
car to the house. Like it didn't go from some girl's house, friend's house, travel with him in the car, in a pocket, into the house. Like he just brought it in to throw it away.
There's something weird. I
mean,
think
it's
there's
weird.
something weird.
It's
Well,
weird.
he hides that he masturbates from her as it is.
That's what I'm saying. That's shady. Like,
Well, or
why
he's
would
got
you need
some
to
like
hide that?
shame around it. I
They're
don't think
young.
that's not
They're young.
ordinary. Or that's not
They're
unordinary.
young. They're youthful.
well, that's the bigger message is that you shouldn't have to hide if you're masturbating, one.
You guys, they're 22 and 24 years
Well,
old.
if there's any 22 and 24-year-olds that need to hear it, like your partner's going to masturbate. Right, Rob?
Right.
But into a condom, that's sus.
It's not though if you're in the car and you're hiding it, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's weird.
It's definitely weird.
It's weird.
And I don't know because I do not have a penis. I don't know how it works. I'm just
It's weird, but I don't think it's
just
any
glad
weirder
about
than
hypothesizing.
I don't think it's any weirder than him pocketing a used condom that he used with another woman.
I mean, that's a thing, you know?
What?
Like, I know people that have made their partner, like, they've smell checked them. It's a thing.
Yeah. I mean, if she smelled so strongly from his pocket,
Smell check
like-
their wiener?
if she smelled that strongly from his pocket, I think she would have detected another smell if it wasn't just himself. Like the latex and the
She should
semen
go
was
into
that
work for
strong.
the FBI. She's got a good nose,
Yeah, I think
you know?
that's the takeaway from this.
Let me ask you, Rob, because you're more familiar with semen from a man. Does it lose its potency after a while?
Oh, was it fresh?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We had this debate on a episode of Flightless Bird this week. There's trees around the country that smell like semen, apparently.
Mhm.
Do you know about these?
I've heard of
I
it.
have never
smelled
smelled
them.
that. I haven't
I have.
smelled that. I don't
Not that I know what that smells like, but I have.
have like a strong sense of what semen smells like, so I don't think I'm the right person to ask.
It doesn't have that strong of an odor, I don't feel like, to be in the pocket. Do you think it does?
This is all really disgusting.
Here's the question. She obviously doesn't trust him, and there's a reason, because where there's smoke, there's fire.
Well, he already hides that he masturbates from her, so that's where it's coming from. right?
No, Rachel.
Well, yeah,
No,
that's what
that's
you
where
said.
the distrust comes.
No, the distrust is coming from her gut and he's validating it with the lying.
Oh.
You know what I mean? I do believe this, that most people have a really strong intuition and then they get talked out of it and they get rationalized out of it. But that feeling inside that you're like, there's something I don't trust. I would say 90% of the time, there's a reason you feel like that, period.
I would agree.
And then you go looking for reasons like semen in the pocket, you know?
I think it's because he's hiding that he's masturbating and he's ashamed of it.
Guys. No.
There is, that is something he's lying about and something that he has shame about. And I mean, maybe she needs to just talk to him about that, about like, I don't care that you do this. I care more that you're lying to me about this.
But there's a reason she feels discord, because if she knew it was just like, oh, he's lying that he masturbates.
Well, but that's what she said. She's caught him lying about that. And that's why.
If you're lying about that, you're probably lying about other things.
I don't fully agree with that.
Oh, so are there things you're lying about that?
No, I just think that is like a very loaded thing that like men can carry shame about.
I agree. But I think that there's probably something in there that maybe they're not being honest with themselves. Maybe that there's something that they don't trust about that person beforehand.
Sure, but you're making assumptions at that point. All I'm saying is I think he could be lying about that to her and not lie about everything else to her. Like,
I'm not saying he's lying about everything else, but I
kind of.
No, I do think that when you feel like someone's lying to you and you feel like you can't trust them, regardless of the original fracture in that situation, that your intuition is probably right. That's why you go looking to see if they're lying about things, because you know that they are. Have you ever gone looking for things and then been validated that you were right?
I think we all have.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you've also been like paranoid about things that ended up not being true, right?
Nope.
Never.
Nope.
Never.
We have very strong intuitions over here.
I don't know. I just think you can't give too much power if you're like a nervous person that worries. And
I said intuition. There's a difference between instinct and intuition. Intuition is a gut feeling that will never speak through fear's voice. Is a knowing. I have this feeling. That's your intuition. Your instincts will lie to you and say a bunch of fearful shit. That's not the same as intuition. If you have an intuition about something, chances are there's a reason.
Are you willing to accept an explanation that it's something different than what you think?
Absolutely. Just validate the fact that I know there's discord.
Sure, that's mostly
that's what I mean.
Yeah, that's mostly what I'm brushing up against. That I don't, like, I think you can be wrong, but it could be triggered because of something else that's happening.
1,000%. You can circumstantially be wrong, but when you have that knowing, there's a reason that that's happening. And if you are in tune with that and you can listen to that and not be talked out of it, there's probably a reason. That's not the same as having irrational instincts that lead you down crazy making.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? It could be completely wrong. It could be like, well, I didn't tell you that really my grandma's sick and I've been in, like, it could be anything.
Yeah.
But you knew there was something.
I agree with that you should follow that, but yeah,
I'm not saying go snooping and whatever. I would go, like, for instance, like if I had that feeling in my relationship, that doesn't mean go start checking his phone, go check his emails, check his clothes. Like, it would mean what I would have to get more clear with myself of like, what is this that I'm feeling?
Mm-hmm.
What do I need to face? Right? Because once you start snooping and going through there, you're just externally trying to deal with something you know inside.
Mm.
Right. So, I mean, just going back to then this question, I think if he's lying about masturbating, that doesn't mean he's then lying about everything else in their relationship.
No, not everything else,
No.
but there's probably something to that.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. I think she should address that and have a conversation with him around that specific thing and tell him that, like, because of this, I am losing trust for you.
Absolutely.
And I need you to be honest about this. You've been caught multiple times lying to me about this.
This just goes back to the 20s and dating. I just feel like you don't have the tools.
We're giving them the tools.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying. So you're, guiding them. I hope they listen.
But also then you have to look at your behavior and be like, have I provided a safe space for him to feel like he can be honest with me? Or do I react? Do I get jealous? Do I make him feel like it's wrong? Like, you have to look at your behavior.
I forgot to read. She is a nun and she's against masturbation. She shames him every time he does it.
Are you joking?
Yes, he's joking.
Well, she wouldn't be in a relationship if she was a nun. Wow. It was the old brain again.
Detective Rachel on the case.
So Rachel thought you were serious about coming here today, even though you had 103 fever yesterday. Were you?
No, I wasn't serious.
I didn't think so.
Oh, I was like, he was serious.
I was not serious.
Well, you never know with you. All right, I think we've did it.
Yep. That's it for this week.
That's it for this week. Da-da-dun-dun-dun. See you next week.
Bye.